Welcome to the Edmonds Community College pregame show. We're just moments away from the start of the 2016 football season, and joining me right now, the head football coach of the Lynwood Royals, Keontae Bankhead. Coach Bankhead, Lynwood versus Ballard tonight.
Right.
Boy, I seem to remember about 15 plus years ago, give or take.
About right. Sounds about right.
There was a pretty good football player. They had a 5-star recruit back in the day, and I think I'm sitting across from him right now. You are going tonight against your alma mater.
Yeah.
What is that like for you?
It's fun. You know, Ross Humphreys, their new head coach. He's a great guy, and he was over at Blanchette for a while. And I used to call him and ask him, you know, for opinions on, you know, when I got the Lynwood job, and he's done a great job. And he's really a football technician, and I know they're going to be ready for tonight's game, and it's exciting because I went there, and a lot of people don't know, but this past spring they actually offered me that job. And I've just been so happy with Lynwood. You know, I kind of, you know, respectfully declined it. And so what happened was they called, you know, Rob McMahon's our AD and said, well, since we can't have, you know, Bankhead as a coach, can we at least play you guys? And so that's how that game came about. But for me, it's a big game. They have a couple assistants that played on that same team as well, along with Ross, Jerome Williams, Nick Thornton-Jack, Dan DeLong he was actually our coach. He actually coached us during that season. We went to the championship. So it's a big game for me, and I'm excited, and I definitely want to come out with the victory.
You know, we want to talk a lot about Lynwood football, but we should probably revisit that a little bit. You not only played for Ballard, you took them to I shouldn't say you alone, but your teammates, you took them to a state championship game. Right. We were talking about that a little off air a few minutes ago. Tell me about that experience and what kind of memories you have from the days at Ballard.
It's nothing but good memories. You know, Doug Trainer, who's over at Everett now, he was the head coach, and he was my coach for 4 years. So it was a great experience. Until this day, I still remember, you know, each game and how that whole season went, and I can remember just how hard we worked to get there. And so as a coach, that's all I'm trying to do is install that into my players now. But just being able to experience that as a football player, as a high school football player, is something you'll remember forever. And just to be able to go against those guys, it's going to be a fun experience because of knowing where we learned the game from. So we're gonna have similarities in our coaching styles and things like that. As of, you know, playing Doug last year against Everett, it was fun because I could see the things he taught me and what he's trying to do at Everett, and it was just a fun game. And, you know, just being able to you know, have a group of guys to play with that loved the game, that was passionate about the game, it makes it funner, you know, and always, you know, winning is always fun, you know, and being able to go through that transition as a player, you know, a high school player, that road to the state championship, I'll never forget that time, you know, in my life. I remember more high school days than playing in college. And so that's just a period of time in my life that is just memorable.
And not to bring up a bad memory, but you and I were talking a few minutes ago too,
Right.
And for those Ballard folks that are out watching us tonight, Keontae hasn't forgotten that state championship game either. That never leaves you. A 14-7 loss to Pasco, right?
To Pasco, yeah. I think about it every day. Every day. I think, and I'm like, what could I have done differently, or if I just a different way, or caught this pass, or if we ran this play, a lot goes. Almost, it may seem bad. You know, a lot of people don't get to experience that, and so I just take it, you know, and I made it that far to play in the Tacoma Dome, because that's every high do that. You know, whether we came out with the victory or not, still remember it, and I just take the good. So,
sure. Now that's the Ballard football team from way back when.
2000. Right.
Royals last year with their first winning season, 6 wins and 4 losses, and now you're looking to build upon that. We need to talk about that is the goal. And now it's kind of interesting because this is a team of seniors who, when they came in as freshmen 3 years ago, ran the table. Right. Kind of buzzing about how look out for these guys. really look out for them in 2016. We are getting ready for the season opener, and I think the guy we have to talk about first is your quarterback, Hammond. A bit about what he does well.
I think more being a quarterback his sophomore year, so he really only played in maybe 3.5 games. Well, last year was really his first playing back at that. So he didn't have much experience going into last season. So it was impressive to me because he really had no experience. We've been getting him extra training. He's been going to some older guys that. But for us, we wanted him to work on his mechanics as a quarterback, standing tall, throwing the ball, turning his shoulders towards his target, things in that nature. He kind of does. As far as running the ball, he's naturally a running back. So he plays for us with his feet. And, so we really wanted him to work on his mechanics as a quarterback. And that way he will be successful in that. He's just gifted, and that's a talent that he has that nobody you can't coach that. And so fortunate to have him. He's been working hard. He's been leading this team and getting everybody on board to achieve this year. And so he's been doing the team and bettering himself so that he can make the team better. So.
Or do you get concerned when you see him take off running? I know, unlike a Russell Wilson, who when he gets a few yards down the field, he looks to put his shoulder down sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, do you get a little nervous when you see that? What do you tell him as a coach?
Every time he runs, and he's gonna lower his shoulder like a running back, and so it's tough to bring him down, and he knows that. So he's looking to punish guys, and so unnecessary hits, but at the same time, kind of. So
sure,
we don't monitor it too much, but definitely when he takes off the run, I think everyone takes a deep breath, like, all right, is he getting up? All right, good. Get the next play.
Ready for the next play, absolutely.
Right.
You have a nice luxury. You're bringing back most of your line from last year, and a little bit about that line and what that's looking like.
So, returning lineman, Laban, Aaron Gang, and Harris Cuddick and Nathan Junkin. There are 4 starters that play turning in. So I'm fortunate to have these guys up front blocking for Alton. I believe he was first or second team last year also. So I watched it a few times and I couldn't really. You watch film, he's pancaking guys, man. He's out there working offensive line, and then we got Jacob Laban. He's our center, and he's grown a lot. 6'4" now, good feet, quick. And he's very vocal. He gets emotional. He's also a leader. They kind of work together, and so and Nathan Junkin that we throw in with those guys, and they're a complete package, and they're smart. They're also know what's going on. We've been running the same plays, for the last 3 years. So stay healthy, and we can get this thing rolling.
And you've got some nice skill players coming back. And 12 touchdown catches last year. Talk to me a little more about not only Riley, but some of the other players we can.
Johnson played receiver. You just mentioned him, and then we have Bryce. Played safety for us, and then he played receiver for us also, who had a pretty decent
last year.
Right, and he got hurt early. Torn meniscus, partial torn meniscus, but he's been rehabbing, so he'll be back probably week 2. That will be the guys that's going to help us skill wise. We had a couple transfers coming. That's what we're banking on. But other than that, I think, Riley Johnson, a huge help for us this year. And like you mentioned, he scored 12 touchdowns last year, and that's was a guy that we didn't have 2 years ago. his freshman year, and then sophomore came out his junior year. So a lot of our guys last year playing varsity football, so it was interesting to see how that season turned out. And they coming in to just start fast because last year we lost a couple games early. Hoping to start fast and keep the train rolling.
And now running backs,
Oh yeah.
Guy's looking a little bit thinner than he was.
He's a bruiser, and he slimmed down. He told me himself, Coach, I want to play running back next year, so he worked. He got faster, his lateral movements quicker, and I'm to see him run the ball. I think he's gonna pound a lot of guys, man. When I see him, I look at a college player. Tackle him. I wouldn't want to tackle him, but he's definitely defense for us this year.
So you on paper and you're looking at this team and you're thinking, wow. Last year, back from a coaching that motivation that you can get to the kids, or does it make you nervous? How are you feeling?
I'm always nervous,
yeah?
even as a player. But that's a good thing. But I expect these guys, what they have to understand is when you are the top dog, or when you're expected, he's bringing their A game. Everybody's gonna bring their A game, so we have to elevate, be able to. Just this league it's not an easy league. There's some great teams in there, and I'm just hoping that we can come out and be successful. We have.
Now, I want to ask you a little bit too about the game coming up tonight.
Yeah.
Some of these coaches on the other side there,
Right.
You know them a little bit. First year for them. Do we know what to expect from these guys right now? I mean, how are you preparing for this game?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You've played them last year, and you can kind of bring up old film, but this is a new staff, new team, so I can only go off speculation of what they're going to run.
Based on your knowledge of their.
Because I'm asking me questions.
Sure.
So, this game is always kind of blind if it's a new opponent. So we typically can they're going to move and probably towards the middle of after the first quarter and the second quarter. You kind of get a feel of what's going on, but I have no clue what they're running. I can guess they're in some type of spread. I'm hoping they come out in the 4-3. That's what makes it's both sides. I know who Ross knows, and he probably knows a lot of coaches. Be an interesting game.
Should be a lot. One last question for you too before we go. Give me a quick this year what it looks like. You lose Glacier Peak, you gain Everett and Snohomish. What do you think about South right now?
Losing Glacier Peak help us really, because they gave us two tough opponents. So now we got to play two tough opponents and one. Everett, Coach Trainer is going to get Everett right. We scrimmaged them this year. This guys over there, their O-line's big, and they're bringing back a couple new guys that I think will be effective this year for them. And just knowing their coaching staff also, I expecting out of their kids. So I see how their season's going to be good. And so it's a tough league. I don't any walkovers. Each game will be, you have to bring your A game each game to be. But you got your Edmonds Woodway. They're we scrimmaged them this year. They got some guys over there that can play football. So they each to the league, and I think each week will be interesting and fun to watch.
It's going to be a very Coach Bankhead, best of luck tonight and all season long. Appreciate having you on. You've been watching the Edmonds Community College
Edmonds Community College. Join Edmonds CC in celebrating its 50th anniversary at a celebration kickoff event Friday, September 16th, starting at 4 p.m. on Triton Field. For more information, go to www.edcc.edu/50.
High school. The Sound Live Sports Network is presented by My Neighborhood News Network, South Snohomish County's online gathering place. Visit My Edmonds News, MLT News, and LynwoodToday.com for news, sports, events about your community, and see what you're talking about.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Edmonds District Stadium, the starting point for the 2016 football season as Ballard, the Beavers, come in to face the Lynwood Royals under mostly cloudy skies. It's been off and on, very schizophrenic weather day today. The thunder and lightning earlier, we had some question marks as to whether we were even going to get this game off the ground, but here we are, partly sunny. We see some football spread out in front of us, and we're going to play ball. Keith Neely alongside Scott Brudevold up here high in the press box, and a couple of non-league foes matching wits here on the opening day of football season. And Scott, these two may be non-league opponents, but they know each other very well, both coaches having played together at Ballard High School.
Yeah, both coaching staffs have actually played on the state team that Ballard had that went to the state championship playoff where they lost 14-7 to Pasco in 2003.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's pretty impressive. They know each other well.
Keontae Bankhead, of course, a parade All-American, five-star athlete. You watched him in the pregame show. By all accounts, a very, very solid athlete at Ballard High School, and his across the field rival, if you will. He's got a lot of friends that you see him hugging and exchanging handshakes on the far side of the field. A lot of teammates now, including Ross Humphreys, the head coach at the first-year head coach at Ballard, are playing together, and so they know each other's schemes pretty well.
Yeah, and it's got to be really awkward playing against your alma mater. And what he said the pregame show was he actually got offered the Ballard job, but he feels so comfortable at Lynwood, he's decided that he's going to stay at Lynwood, which is really impressive on his part because, everybody deep down in your heart would love to coach your alma mater.
And that's how this game kind of came about. The incubus was that conversation trying to get Keontae to coach football down in North Seattle, and it ended up coming to its culmination right here at Edmonds District Stadium, where they'll play a non-league game together on the field. So we're about to kick off here, and let's just talk a little bit about athletes. The Ballard Beavers will kick off to Lynwood, and their starting quarterback, the Lynwood Royals, is Alton Hammond, who was the starter last year for a number of games, almost the entire season. 5'10", 215 pounds, and the kid has got some jets.
Yeah, and I was talking to the coaches before the game, and they kept telling me that he can run the ball, he can pass the ball, and they'd like to see him slide a little bit more because he's one of these type of young men that once he gets an open field, he wants to punish the defensive back or the opposite team player, and he's really, really a tough runner.
Deep to receive for the Lynwood Royals is Riley Johnson, who had 12 touchdowns as a receiver last year, along with Dylan Smiley Tatum. It'll be Riley Johnson who'll take the kick, putts through the middle. He's got some running room and the speed. He could go the distance. The 20, the 10, one man to catch, and an opening kickoff return for a touchdown.
Keith,
75 yards for the score on the opening kick.
And the one unfortunate thing on that play is Lynwood got, I believe they're going to get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. The players ran onto the field, and I saw the referee throw the flag right away. It'll probably be assembled on the kickoff, I'm sure, but Beautiful run. He took it right up the middle. Nobody even touched him. That was a great play call by the Lynwood special teams.
And I tell you what, that practice all year long, this game isn't just about the last week of practice. It's about getting in the weight room. It's about all the speed and agility that's done all summer long. It's about the camps. It's about the togetherness. And this Lynwood Royals team, boy, they surely showed how to put a wedge together at the beginning of a football game.
I don't think you could start it any better way. Their blocking up there was just huge. The hole was huge, and the young man, once he went through the hole, he was gone.
So Lynwood now for the PAT. The kick is up, and it is through. We are on the board for the Lynwood Royals. 7-0 will be the score. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network. We'll take a break and be back for the Ballard start of their first drive right after this.
Edmonds Community College. Join Edmonds CC in celebrating its 50th anniversary at its celebration kickoff event Friday, September 16th, starting at 4 p.m. on Triton Field. For more information, go to www.edcc.edu/50.
(7-0) early, Lynwood with the first touch. Not even a play from scrimmage and already leading this one 7-0. And the Ballard Beavers will take their shot to try to even the score on their first drive. A wild kick. It'll be taken in about the 25-yard line, and the ball is loose, and it is out of bounds. Lynwood almost had the turnover inside the Ballard side of the field, and it will come up empty. And Ballard will start their first possession, 1st and 10 on the 35.
Number 22, Ian Cocker, tried to catch the ball, and he just fumbled it right out of bounds. It was a scrum, and actually the Lynwood guys knocked it out of bounds. But Ballard ball on the 35-yard line.
Ballard now will bring out their starting 11 on offense, led by number 10, big Corbin Gabriel, the senior quarterback, 6 foot, 185 pounds. Had some injury problems and really did not get a lot of time on the field last year with a leg injury, and now will anchor this Ballard team from the backfield. Big kid. Not a lot of times you see a linebacker quarterback combination, and he starts both ways. That pass is winged out to Eric Henderson, the senior wide receiver, 5'8", 175 pounds, and a first down. Not bad play call right off the bat.
Yeah, that was a nice play. He was out on the left wing. He got the ball and took it up the field. They got, 13 yards? Well executed play by the Ballard Beavers.
11:45 showing on the clock. 1st and 10 with the ball on the 36-yard line. Second play from scrimmage now. As Gabriel will be in that shotgun formation, they'll put the receiver Fresh Osser in motion, and now the ball pulled into about 8 yards deep. It's Daniel Hardiman will get the carries, the most of the carries tonight out of that tailback spot. A senior, 5'9", 180 pounds, and this Beaver front five are really pushing the ball well. They're getting that movement downfield, Scott, and it's allowing a lot of distance for his running back.
Yeah, and Daniel had a pretty good size hole there, and he took it up the middle, and he made the first contact. And that's how he got the extra 3 yards on the hit play. Nice job by the Beavers.
Third play from scrimmage, a 2nd down and 2 situation. As Gabriel calls out the shots, he's got 2 receivers, twins on the far side, and now we'll have an encroachment penalty as Alton Hammond comes out of that linebacker spot. Also a quarterback linebacker. Got some pretty decent athletes slinging the ball tonight.
Yeah, and I think he was going to blitz because he was trying to time the snap, and he just came a little too early. And then once he encroached past the line of scrimmage, it's automatic penalty.
So that will move the sticks to be first down now inside. Well, actually, they have been now for 2 plays inside the Lynwood side of the field. 1st and 10 with the ball on the Lynwood 41. There's a high snap, play action fake. Now they'll swing the ball out. It's caught. A little running room on the right-hand side is brought down. Hardiman came out of the backfield on a little play action and then turned around. Knew exactly where that ball was. A little bit behind him, Scott, but he still got some running room.
Yeah, they picked up 4. They're hustling up the line of scrimmage. They're trying to pick up the tempo. That was a real nice tackle by the Lynwood linebacker, too. Made a beautiful play on that.
2nd down and 6. Ballard with twins on the near side. 3 receivers set. Now almost a bubble screen without the bubble. And that may be a drop for a loss. The pass was Osser for his 2nd catch of the game. And a loss of 1, maybe 2.
And that was our man Riley Johnson who took the kickoff for a touchdown, playing DB. Made a beautiful tackle, one-on-one, and just took his man down. Nice job by Riley Johnson.
First 3rd down for Ballard, able to move the sticks on their first couple of touches from the first down. Down so important in high school football. And now 3rd down, the blitz is on. There's the swing out pass once again to Hardiman. He'll turn the corner, has to get by one more man. Did he get it to the line to gain? I think it'll be just short, Scott. A yard short, but it's in that weird spot where in high school football you don't have a lot of leg strength, and do you really want to give the ball
I think if you're
back to him right there?
I think if you're Ballard, you got to go. And I think the reason why is you want to show Lynwood that, hey, you scored on the kickoff. We're coming back. We're going right back at you. We're going to give you our best shot. And, you know, they're running that little screen. They must know something that Lynwood's linebackers are kind of sneaking in, trying to cheat a little bit because they're hitting that wing every time.
Melipione on the far side. Henderson alongside Osser on the near side, and a pass will fall incomplete, and that will be a turnover on downs. Lynwood will get the ball back deep in their own territory, right about the 32-yard line.
And I don't know if this is a telling sign of the ball game, but it's 4th and 1, and they're back there trying to pass 8 yards. I think if they'd have ran the ball, they might have picked up a yard. But, you know, it's their offense. They know it works. That's the first incompletion on the drive, but that one really hurt them because now Lynwood's got the ball.
First-year head coach Ross Humphreys, he mentioned when we talked earlier in the ballgame how much confidence he had in Gabriel, the starting quarterback, and there's a show of it right there. You got a lot of faith in your receiving core. You got a lot of faith in your quarterback. And unfortunately not able to get that first down. There's a running play off to the left-hand side, and a fumble. The ball is loose, and Ballard bench is joyous over there on the far sideline, but I don't think they'll come up with it. But a nice job of stripping the ball. 2nd down and 5.
You know, so far it's only been a couple minutes into the game, but Ballard's shown they're here to play. They're scrappy. They're out there giving it everything they got. I noticed when they made the couple tackles here that there's not one guy tackling. There's 3 or 4 guys, and that's a good sign for them.
2nd down, 5 yards to go. The handoff will go up the middle, and a lot of daylight into the backfield, and finally upended about the 45-yard line of Ballard. An outstanding run, and you just saw the Red Sea part. That front line for the Lynwood Royals splitting things wide open.
Well, that was just an excellent call by Lynwood. They ran that draw, and I think it was number 24 that ran it, Raymond Raw. And, boy, nice run straight up the middle. Nice play.
Roa 5'7", 175 pounds in that full house backfield. In the shotgun formation goes Hammond. And now he'll just keep it himself. Bounces off one tackler. There's another one with a stiff arm. Gets around the right-hand side. Has a man to beat. Finally upended by Zed Webster, the sophomore. And Hammond, a big body with a lot of speed once he gets into daylight.
Yeah, that was a nice play by the quarterback. And that, when I was talking to the coaches before the game, they were saying there's a lot of times where he's just going to get the ball and he's going to do it himself. And right there he did. He actually just went out there and he was man on man and made a beautiful run. And again, he did not slide like a lot of quarterbacks are supposed to. He was looking for that DB and he made the hit.
Well, a lowered shoulder on the first would-be tackler. Was able to stiff arm his way out of a second. And then there was a DB on the far end of that. Zed Webster might have felt a little extra something when he was finally able to drop the big senior after the big gain.
Yeah, he's a very impressive power runner.
So first down, we've got a timeout. This one called by Ballard. 9:11 on the first quarter clock. 7-0 your score. Lynwood out on top after the big 75-yard kickoff return by Riley Johnson.
And I think Ballard right now, the reason they called timeout is they're trying to just regroup their defense, tell them it's okay, guys, we're doing, we're playing tough, and catch a breath. We got a lot of time left, and let's try to make a play. And it's more of a confidence builder. It's first game of the team. He's trying to build them up and see what they can do.
We talked earlier to the coaching staff of Ballard about this team, and the common theme was that the team is new, the coaching staff is new, the scheme is new, and they're just still trying to figure out who each other are. They have a lot of kids that haven't played football before. There, the ball's loose, and it gets into the feet, tangled up behind Hammond.
Yeah, Hammond and Michael Kirkman.
I think that was Kirkman, yeah.
Yeah, Hammond and Kirkman had a little mix-up in the handoff there, and Hammond recovered the fumble, luckily for the Royals.
So after the mishandled snap, it'll go back to a second down and 14 now. And Lynwood will regroup, again putting 3 in the backfield, including quarterback Hammond. Kirkman is back there along with a long pass, caught in the end zone. That's Smiley Tatum, the 6'1", 170-pound wide receiver, and boy, oh boy, that's the way you suck them in on the play action and you go long, and the Ballard Beavers bit.
Yeah, they set him up. This is a really nice pass, and Smiley Tatum's got some speed, and he was one-on-one with that DB with no safety help, and he was 3 or 4 yards ahead of him, and the ball was perfectly passed. That was a pretty easy touchdown for the Royals. They made it look easy, should I say.
Smiley Tatum, a senior, a Lynwood team laden with seniors. Oh, I think, Scott, you mentioned 10 on one side of the ball and 10 on the other. That's a pretty heavy senior team.
Yeah, Coach said that it's the most seniors he's had since he's been there. It's his 3rd year, and he said it's nice finally to be out there and to have 10 seniors on both sides of the offense and defense.
At 8:25 here in the first quarter, Lynwood putting a showing on after a 34-yard touchdown strike to Smiley Tatum makes it 14-0. And we'll take a break on the Sound Live Sports Network. The Lynwood Royals go 68 yards in 4 plays and now have the lead expanded to 14 points, and some wet turf will drop the ball carrier Hardiman, who took the kickoff for the Lynwood.
Yeah, that was kind of unfortunate.
About 20-yard line. He got a decent return, but was on his way to some bigger daylight, some better things.
He was crossing the field, and it was open, but he slipped on the turf and went down. It's unfortunate for the Ballard Beavers.
Ball will be placed on their own 28-yard line. Ballard will set up shop. Had some good success early, mixing up the offense between the pass and running game. And we're able to get all the way down to the Lynwood 32-yard line before surrendering on 4 downs. We'll see what they can come up with now with 8:16 to go first quarter. Early season, especially on wet turf, you don't necessarily see a whole lot of passing, but both teams showing they can go through the air tonight. Back to pass. It is caught on the right-hand side. One good football move and into a host of defenders. An extra effort will give Matt Melapione, the senior, about 8 yards. Melapione is 6'1", 185-pounder.
That's a really good first down play. You get 8 yards on a nice pass play like that, and that's the kind of plays Ballard's going to have to need tonight to stay in this game.
Gabriel with the lone back man, and he'll take the handoff. Hardiman will get near the line to gain. I think they'll give it to him, Scott.
Yeah, it looks like the referee's they're moving the chains. That was a tough 2 yards, but you know what? They got a first down, and that's what they need to do. They just need to slowly move the ball down the field. I don't think they have the big strike capability that the Royals have, so they're going to have some ground control and eat some time up and chew some clock.
And from my perspective up here in the booth, of course, we're not sitting down on the field at height level, head height level, but Ballard just looks physically smaller than Lynwood, but yet still moving the ball pretty well.
Yeah, they're playing hard. They're it's the first game of the season, but they are smaller.
There's the Hardiman handoff on the play action. Corbin Gabriel actually looked like he had the ball for a while, so a little misdirection will set the ball up 4 yards from where they started. 2nd down and 7 on the scoreboard.
And I think they'll be happy all night if they can get 4 or 5 yards of play. I think that's kind of what they're looking for. They're gonna try to strike big once in a while, but they got to get their offense going. And 4 and 5 yards a lick's a good way to do it.
Ballard finishing 2nd overall in the Metro League last year, 1st in the Valley standings. There's another play action, almost picked off. Just thrown slightly behind the intended receiver, Henderson. And swatted down by all-league Riley Johnson.
Boy, that was a nice play by Riley Johnson. That looked a little bit like Richard Sherman there. I mean, he one-on-one, went out, kept the left hand behind the receiver's back, right arm, knocked it down. That was really a nice play.
Johnson able to close space very quickly because it looked early on that slant route that Henderson had him by a step and a half. Johnson, long and lanky, was able to reach out the big paw and bat it away for a pass defense. 3rd down and 7. And a snap count will echo in the back of Mr. Henderson's mind on this play as he was quick off the near side on that receiver position.
That kind of hurts, too, because you go from 3rd and 7 to 3rd and 12. And really, so far, Ballard's been shown they can pick up intermediate yards, but they sure can't pick up. We haven't seen them pick up anything long.
The long stuff.
And now they're putting themselves in a really hard position.
Started on their own 28 on this drive. This will be the 5th play of the drive. 6:45 to play first quarter. 2 wideouts on the near side, 1 on the far. Solo man in the backfield is Hardiman. Here is the Gabriel snap. He looks to pass. He'll have to run out of trouble. A lot of slicing and dicing, and now we'll fire toward the sideline, and we'll be lucky if we don't see a penalty flag here.
Yeah,
and there it comes.
Yeah. He had the ball to get across the line of scrimmage, and they weren't even close. He was throwing it away. I mean, I understand what the young man was doing. He had nowhere to go, but you got to get the ball across the line of scrimmage if you're going to do that.
And it makes it a tough situation now where you're at least near midfield. And with the grounding and the loss of down, you're going to turn the ball over to Lynwood in very, very more than adequate field position if you're a Royal offensive coordinator.
Yeah. I mean, the punt guy's standing on the 50 now, so the returner. So, this hurts.
They'll back the ball up to what looks to be about the 18-yard line. If you're head coach Ross Humphreys, you've got to feel pretty good about at least the preparedness and what your team has been able to do in spurts coming into the ball game.
Yeah, and I like I said, I think they're playing really hard. There's no lack of
A high snap, and the kick will take a Lynwood bounce and finally down at the 25-yard line.
I think it's the mistakes on that play. That's what's killing Ballard right now. They're killing themselves with mistakes. They're trying, they're playing hard, but they're making costly mistakes. And this is another one. I mean, that punt went, 12 yards? And so
12 yards, and after the penalties and the intentional grounding, he ended up with negative 10 yards on that drive, which started out with 2 first downs.
Yeah.
So you were net 20 at one point in time.
Yep. Yeah, that's penalties and mistakes are killing them.
Lynwood will start 1st and 10 at the Ballard 26. Boy, you've got to have wide eyes if you're on offense now for Lynwood. There's a smash and a crunch down inside the red zone. I believe that'll be big Michael Kirkman, number 34, 6'1", 208 pounds, and runs like 208 pounds. And from what I understand in the interview with Keontae Bankhead, he's dropped some weight.
Yeah, and he went right up the middle, put his shoulder down, did a fantastic play there. Really looked good.
Mikey Kirkman, some football lineage in that family. And it's a 2nd down and 3. And they'll put Mikey in motion and motion again. 2 wideouts on the far side. Riley Johnson, the receiver on the near side, and they'll hand the ball out. A great block by Johnson may put him in the end zone. Touchdown. Hammond with the keeper will go around right in and scamper 19 yards for the TD.
Yeah, you called it, Keith. Great block by the split end, cracked back, and Hammond went around, and there was nobody that was going to touch him. Beautiful run.
Two
nice play.
very, very good senior athletes. Riley Johnson started off that post on that right-hand side a little slow, it looked like, but he was setting up the block as he knew it was coming behind him. And at one point in time, spun off one guy, slowed him up to get Hammond around, and was able to go downfield and allow his quarterback enough room to get into the end zone. High snap, the kick is up and through. And it is 21-0 with 5:29 to go first quarter. Lynwood rolling in the first game of the regular season. We'll take a break on Sound Live Sports Network. Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. Always fun to do the very first one of the season, and you know, once you get that first pop of the pads, then you find out who you are for the most part. Both Ballard and Lynwood playing decent football, and I think you hit the nail on the head. A bit more mistake prone perhaps is Ballard. There's a squib kick, and there will be a penalty. I don't believe. Well, what I think happened is that Lynwood ended up jumping the ball, and it'll be an offsides call.
And you know, on Ballard's point, Keith, Coach Humphreys, this is just going to help him get prepared for the Metro League. This is the kind of game where he can get the film after the game and say, guys, this is what we did right, this is what we did wrong, this is what we got to work on. So, you know, it's a great building experience before they get into the Metro League this year, since the Metro League's changed and doesn't have the, you know, I guess they're not playing O'Day and Eastside Catholic, and
right.
It's a different league this year.
Private versus public Metro League this year. Ballard 6-0 in the Valley League, or the Valley Division of Metro last year, ended up 6-2 overall. They gave Nathan Hale their only loss of the season. So a pretty decent season last year. Ended up in the state playoffs, losing to Glacier Peak 41-33 in that state tournament. So they know about the Wesco.
Yep.
Glacier Peak, of course, moving up to the 4A classification this year after having started the school and being the 3A school all the way through their first, what is it now, almost 12 years. Kickoff return back to the 15-yard line. So after a questionable kick, we're given the penalty backed up, and the thunder kick.
And that makes you wonder why they were even trying those pooch kicks, because that was just a beautiful kick and that was done by
I didn't see, Scott. I should know better than that. But
Michael Kirkman.
Could be Mikey Kirkman.
Yep, that's who kicked that. That was a beautiful kick. And so now Ballard's got themselves in a little bit of a hole there on the 15, but let's see what they can do. Let's see them move the ball.
Similar formation that we've been used to since the beginning of the game. 2 on the far side, 1 on the near side. Near setup is Henderson, who's caught a couple of nice passes. There's the handoff. It'll go to Hardiman, who gets through into some daylight, some running room around the left-hand side, right in front of the Lynwood bench. Makes one DB pay after he lowers his shoulder, and another first down for Ballard on their first play from scrimmage. So Ballard able to really show pizzazz in instances. If they can undo the mistakes or keep the mistakes from happening, they've got a real shot at getting back into this ball game.
Yeah, they're moving the ball. It's just, like you said, the mistakes are killing them. That's a nice hard run by Hardiman, too. He had a nice spin on it at the end. I mean, they can play.
Twins on the near side. There's this slight play action fake. And now Gabriel will have to roll out to his right. Does he have enough room to get by the big man, number 77, Jacob Laban, 6'3", 290 in pursuit.
Yeah, he was hauling for a big guy. That was
It
really,
sure was.
That was a nice play. And you know what? That's a nice play by the quarterback. It was a broken play, and he made it 3 yards on it. So that's the kind of plays Ballard needs. They need that stuff.
We've got a Lynwood timeout on the field. We'll take one ourselves on the Sound Live Sports Network. 4:58 to go first quarter. Lynwood on top of Ballard 21-0. Ballard starting on their own 15-yard line have gotten themselves out of a bit of a hole here. Still in the first quarter. Got a lot of football under us already. But both teams throwing the ball around tends to slow the clock down just a little bit. And I honestly very surprised as much aerial attack as we've seen this early in a season.
Yeah, I was talking to the Lynwood coaches for the game, and they told me they were really going to try to run the ball. So I'm a little surprised, too.
There's the pass. It got a man open. Caught over the top. Number 14, Chris Ellen, the senior, the tight end, able to get a little Y pop out of the middle. Got behind the defense. 6'2", 220. There's a target for you.
Yeah, big young man, and he got down, broke into the open field over the middle, got behind the linebackers, and in front of the safety, caught the ball, and then he outran him for 20 yards. Good play by the Beavers.
Now inside the red zone for the first time tonight, the Ballard Beavers 1st and 10 on, we'll make it the 17-yard line. They'll hand the ball off. Hardiman able to get into that pile and making those 4- and 5-yard charges right off that right tackle.
Yeah, they've been getting that the whole game. They can pretty much get that when they want. Again, it's their mistakes that are keeping them back, but they're moving the ball fine. This is their best drive of the night by far. And, they're down inside the 10 right now.
2nd down and 3 with the ball on the 9-yard line. 4:18 and counting here first quarter at Edmonds District Stadium. Gabriel in that familiar shotgun formation will do the play action and run into trouble. There's a little shuffle pass, and it'll be a first down. He got room to the goal line just a bit. Sometimes it just takes a heady quarterback to get you forward momentum.
That was an athletic play. He basically was caught dead to right, and he did that quick little shuffle pass, hit Harleman, and he made the play. That was an outstanding play by the quarterback. And the running back to be heads up to see this quarterback needed help and to be there to get the ball.
Smiley Tatum was deep in the backfield, and we would almost call it in the grasp. Gabriel had to recognize very quickly where he had options and was able to flick the ball out on that right-hand side to Hardeman. And it is now 1st and goal to go on the 4. And that, I'm not sure what that was, because I saw both a white jersey and a black jersey jump.
I saw Eric Henderson, the split end, move, and I think it's going to be on him.
And that is, whether it's on him or not, I know I saw a lot of motion, and if indeed was on Henderson, that'll be the 2nd.
And really, that's too bad, because all he's got to do is turn his head in and watch the center snap. I mean, that's his job. That's on him. So
back to the 9-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal once again.
Please reset the play at the game clock to 3:41. Clock should have run during that last period.
Now we'll move the clock down from 4:01 to 3:41. I like the referee microphone.
Yeah.
That adds a little something. That's something we're not used to a whole lot.
Yeah, that's really nice. And then we can hear the calls exactly what they are.
And here come the Beaver offense once again. Man in motion. They'll put 2 in motion now. They'll mix the entire operation up. Put twins on the far side. Lone man on the near is Henderson. Gabriel in that shotgun formation will back to pass. Has a man open over the top. Just overthrew him. A great play call. Just overthrowing the wide receiver. That was Osser. They call him Fresh. And a little too tall for Fresh to go up and grab it.
Yeah, it was just a little bit out of Fresh's reach. But you know what? He was open. If the quarterback delivers the ball on the money there, that's a touchdown.
2nd down and 9. Life breathed back into this Ballard offense, and you put 7 on the board here. You work yourself into a ball game once again. Lot of clock, a lot of football yet to be played. Now the rollout, a bootleg, has a man open and drug down. That should elicit a penalty call. They say no, incomplete.
I tell you, the Ballard coach, he sure thought that was pass interference.
And
but
I have to think that with the way it looked like he was tackled before the ball got there. Now, whether the ball was catchable or not, it was well outside his grasp, but it looked like he was drugged down.
It sure did. And the only thing, like you said, the only thing I could think is that they thought the ball was so overthrown that it wasn't catchable.
Not nearly as wide open was the receiver on that play as the last.
No.
But you like taking the shots into the middle of the field?
They got nothing to lose. No, go for it. I like it.
Gabriel now will set his crew, give a little hip pump, put the man in motion. And now here's the play action fake, rolling out and tipped at the line of scrimmage. Big number 52 for Lynwood. That's Tommy Nee. Got a hand on it. 6 foot 230 coming at you.
And Tommy might have just saved a touchdown, because if that was a little screen play, and I think the running back would have got it, he was going in the end zone. That was a big play by Tommy.
So 4 shots inside the 10. We'll bring up 4th down and 9. Of course, he had a penalty in there also.
So Ballard thinks, they must be just thinking, we got to get some points, so they're going to try to kick the field goal.
The kicker for Ballard is Oliver Colleran,
And it's
a
blocked.
sophomore, and it's blocked. And here's a chance to pick up some more points if you can run that back. Of course, stopped by the kicker.
And this is what's been hurting Ballard the whole game, Keith. Plays like that. It's unfortunate. they're moving the football, and then they shoot themselves in the foot. And, I mean, that the guy that blocked the kick on that one came right up through the middle. Nobody even touched him. And that, you can't do that. You can't do that. You got to be able to match up to your man.
I don't have the stats in front of me, but you erase the opening kickoff. Of course, that's not total yardage, but you're probably looking at Ballard right now with more total yards on offense than Lynwood.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you.
And yet you're coming up empty on 3 drives now, 21-0 the score. New scheme, new players, new coaching staff. Not all bad.
No.
Not at all.
No. They're working. They're getting their plays in.
Hammond with the play action over the top. Caught and dropped. Great job in defense. And that was Zed Webster on the defense, but just going up, grabbing the football, being steady with the catch, making sure you have it before you try to turn your body to go downfield. An outstanding catch will trump outstanding defense.
Yeah, that was a beautiful catch. And Zed was right there. I mean, he was right there, but nice catch.
Hammond back to pass, has some pursuit, has a blind side, and knocked off his feet and to the ground. That's Ian Crocker, the sophomore, the linebacker coming off the weak side, able to get into the backfield and put the hit on Hammond for the sack.
And he came untouched like a ball of fire from his outside linebacker. They call it, well, he's on the strong side because the tight end was on that side. He came right around the outside, chased the guy in the backfield, and I don't think the quarterback for Lynwood even saw him.
Lynwood will put Andrew Warren on the far side. He put Twins on the near side. That looks like it'll be Smiley Tatum in motion. 2 in the backfield. And here is the handoff. They'll go to Mikey. Mikey with the distance hits a smash at about the 35-yard line. Took 2 Beavers to drop him down. They'll mark him at the 34, so almost back to the original line of scrimmage.
That tackle was made by Corbin Gabriel, and that was a beautiful head-on tackle. Nice job by Corbin.
Fourth play of the drive. Actually, third official play after. Actually, we have a penalty there? No, we didn't. So this would be number 3, 3rd down and 11. Hammond back to pass. There's the screenplay. Beautifully called. And slipping over his own man after making the catch. Lynwood looked like they were going to go a long, long ways. Roa had the catch and then tripped up on his own man. Had the lead blocker out in front. Number 55, who I do not have in my roster.
Well, that's really unfortunate,
Could be Junkin. Nathan Junkin wearing number 54.
And now they're going to have to punt because they had that screen set up beautiful. They had the blockers out front, and he just slipped. The turf's wet. I mean, we got a lot of rain earlier.
Could be Stephen Weibark. I think 56 is what I saw there. There's the kick off the side of the foot. It'll land about the 30 and get a nice Lynwood roll all the way down to the 20-yard line. Sometimes just pays to be fortunate also.
Yeah.
Lynwood able to get a nice hometown bounce. And Ballard will set up shop with 33 seconds to go here first quarter. And see if they can't just put one complete drive together, one mistake-free drive.
That's all it takes. I mean, they're moving the ball, but they keep making one mistake every drive and a couple mistakes on a couple of the drives, but it's killing them. It's hurting their ball movement and everything, and Lynwood's taking advantage of that.
Ballard, familiar formation with Hardiman the running back, standing right next to Gabriel, the quarterback. Twins on the near. 3 receivers set. They'll hand the ball off to Hardiman. No, they won't. And a scoop off the turf. Gabriel will pick it back up and try to at least make some positive yards.
Well, that was pretty close to being a disaster. I mean, he fumbled the ball in the handoff and reached down, and luckily, he's such a good athlete, he was able to scoop it up and take it around the right end for a couple yards.
It also helps that he got a basketball bounce out of an oblong object to come right back up into his kitchen.
Yeah.
In order to scoop it up cleanly and get at least 2 yards. They're going to credit him 2 yards and put the ball on the 23-yard line. And that will be the end of the first quarter. 1 quarter of football in the books. It's been a fun one, at least from our perspective. Lynwood will be the benefactor on points, 21-0 going into quarter number 2. I think leading the total yardage are the Ballard Beavers. They've just drawn the goose egg thus far. We'll see what they can muster starting quarter number 2. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Edmonds Community College. Join Edmonds CC in celebrating its 50th anniversary at its celebration kickoff event Friday, September 16th, starting at 4 p.m. on Triton Field. For more information, go to www.edcc.edu/50.
Turned out to be a pretty nice evening, Scott.
Yeah, the weather's, the rain has stopped. It's warm. I mean, it's not cold.
We started here at the beginning of the afternoon getting set up for the broadcast, and at one point in time the thunder was so loud, I thought that somebody had pushed a dumpster off the top of the stadium, and it rattled so hard you just felt it in your bones, and there was a question mark for a while there right before Ballard started their warm-up, start the day, if we were even going to get a chance to get this in.
Yeah, and then we had some lightning, too.
There's a nice long ball, a one-handed attempt. Will go off the hand of Eric Henderson. Gabriel just taking that 3-step drop and letting her fly.
Yeah, and Henderson had some room. The ball was a little bit on his outside. I mean, he gave it his best effort with the one arm. But you know, Ballard's split ends are able to get on the outside of a speedy Lynwood DBs.
Just starting the second quarter of play here at Edmonds District Stadium on the Sound Live Sports Network. Thanks for being a part of our broadcast. We hope you're enjoying the game. Keith Neely alongside Scott Brudevold, longtime coach in the area here. 2 great ball clubs with some recent history and 2 coaches that played in some old-time history back in 2003 in the state title game, facing one another for the first time. First-year head coach Ross Humphreys for the Ballard Beavers, taking over from Joey Thomas, who, of course, moved on to Garfield, his alma mater, allowing Humphreys to step in to coach his alma mater. And Thomas, of course, had pretty good success as a football player, NFL cornerback for 5 years in the league.
Yeah, and, you know, it's got to be really fun for both these staffs just to play each other because they all know each other. The stories after the game, I'd love to just be in a ear on the wall and hear them because I'm sure they're great.
3rd down and 3 for Ballard now after the incomplete pass. Back to pass and caught over the middle. Will they have enough room and enough oomph to get over the line to gain? I think they'll do it.
Matthew Schultz again, big tight end. And you know what? He's a big boy. They got something there. Ballard's got something there. He's 6'2", 175 pounds. And you know what? He's getting open.
First down, they're moving the chains. Brings up 1st and 10 on the 33-yard line. Again, Edmonds District Stadium. Pretty new turf, but when it's wet, it's wet.
Yeah.
And they'll swing the ball out on a nice pass.
Oh.
Hardeman gets into the sideline and upended right in front of the Lynwood bench. I don't think he gained anything. If not, he might have lost a yard.
No, that was a beautiful, beautiful hit by number 24, Raymond Roa. He came in and just leveled him.
Roa, 5'7", 175 pounds, only a junior. came over, was a Meadowdale Maverick last year, and now finds himself wearing the gold and black. So he will face his old team down the road here a ways. The Lynwood will play Meadowdale on October 7th right here at Edmonds District Stadium.
I'm sure that'll be interesting, playing your old school that you've gone to for 3 years.
I think there'll be a little smack talking going on in the
boy.
in the pile-ups there. They're going to put, I can't tell if they're going to put more time or less time on the clock.
Took some off.
Took some off and then restarted the 25-second play clock, which is new here at Edmonds District Stadium. Nice to be able to see that on both ends. Gabriel back to pass, has a man open, and a juke and a jive, and he's off to the races, left-hand side. Caught once again is the big tight end, and the ball is loose. Lynwood thinks they have it.
They do got it.
And that is a boom to bust in a matter of seconds. Great catch and a great football move by Ellen on that right-hand or left-hand side after the pass by Gabriel was able to scamper almost 30 yards.
And that's kind of what, and we got a player hurt on the field. And that's kind of what we've been seeing the whole game, Keith. Ballard makes a play, and like we've been saying, they shoot themselves in the foot with a mistake, and it's hurting them.
Get your big tight end with the ball and some momentum. Able to get you down the left-hand side under 30 yards and in, again, striking distance. And unfortunately, it came out from your hands and just over there near the sideline. It's one of those things where you don't know whether it's going to be able to stay in. And if you're Ballard, you're willing it out. If you're Lynwood, you're willing it in.
Yeah, I guarantee you Ballard was hoping that ball went out of bounds. But the Lynwood guys were right there, and they recovered it.
Wide receiver, defensive back, Eric Vo down on the turf for Lynwood. Of course, show of respect for both teams down on one knee as the rain begins to come down.
Yeah, it's starting to come down pretty good. We can see from our booth here.
Lynwood had their best year last year since 1999. Their best record, that being a 6-4 overall record. And a lot of people have seen this team come to be. They went undefeated as freshmen and sophomores in the lower ranks of high school football.
And I was talking to the coaches before the game, and they were telling me that on the 7-on-7s in the spring and the summer and the 11-on-11s, they felt they could compete with anybody talent-wise. Now, they weren't sure how everything was going to mesh together, but they felt talent-wise they were there with the same they thought they were right there with Edmonds, Woodway, Meadowdale. I mean, they thought they're very confident on their ability to go out and have a super season.
Well, you mentioned Edmonds, Woodway, and Meadowdale. Those two teams, of course, common foes in the Wesco 3A South. But things have been put in the blender as far as the classifications go. And so a little bit of a different layout. The landscape looks quite different than it did a year ago. As Vo is able to get off his feet and under his own power, gingerly walking off the turf. Edmonds, Woodway, Lynwood, Meadowdale, Mount Lake Terrace, Shorecrest, Shorewood, all common to the Wesco 3A South. They've been there a while. The difference is Mount Lake Terrace now dropping to 2A, will play in the new 2A classification, and that's just a conversation all by itself, how that thing's going to play out with all the different leagues that are involved in that 2A classification up here in the north. Shorecrest, who has been 2A for a long time but played in the 3A South, moves up to 3A, so they're legitimate. That one really counts.
Yeah.
And then you welcome in Everett and Snohomish, who came down from 4A to play in the Wesco South. So some teams that you're used to playing or have played when, if you were one of the 4A schools, you'll now have you'll have to go through them in order to make your way through the playoffs and into state berth.
Well, Everett and Snohomish are definitely new in this division, and Snohomish has been a power in the 4A for years. I mean, I don't know. Recently, they haven't been so great, but they're a great program.
There's the Hammond keeper. He'll get past one, past two, past three, past them all. Can he run into into enough daylight to get to the end zone? He will.
And that's what Coach told me before the game. He says, and I told you, he said Hammond's gonna keep the ball. He's gonna run the ball a lot, and we could see why. Just an outstanding quarterback keeper. Just went, 60-some yards for a touchdown?
We started on the 28, so 72 yards?
72, yeah.
That's not shabby.
No.
You can put that in your hip pocket and run with it.
That'll
way he runs.
That'll help the stat sheet for sure. Yeah, no, and he got through the hole, got to the outside, and nobody could catch him.
Of course, awaiting the PAT. Lynwood has to feel very, very nice with the way they have put together this first half of offense.
Yeah.
Kick a bit delayed as the hold was muffed just a tad, but able to get it up through the uprights. And we've got ourselves a 28-0 ball game with just under 11 minutes to play here in the second quarter. We'll take a break. Sound Live Sports Network.
Edmonds Community College. Join Edmonds CC in celebrating its 50th anniversary at its celebration kickoff event Friday, September 16th, starting at 4 p.m. on Triton Field. For more information, go to www.edcc.edu/50.
High school football on the Sound Live Sports Network is presented by News Network, South Snohomish County's online gathering place. Visit My Edmonds News, MLT News, and LynwoodToday.com for news, sports, events about your community, and see what your neighbors are talking about.
Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. Lynwood in the driver's seat, 28-0. Not quite through a half of football here at Edmonds District Stadium. Ballard showing signs of life, but have been victim of some turnovers. There's a nice run. They kick off returner for Ballard.
Is that Daniel Hardiman again?
It might be.
I think it was number 21.
I got him at 32. That's Zed Webster.
Okay, Zed Webster. Nice.
Zed Webster on the far side, able to scoot loose.
I'm kind of curious why Lynwood keeps doing that pooch kick, because unless that's something that they see or they feel they want to try, because
they haven't been burned by it.
No, good point.
Not yet.
Yeah, but I mean, here we go. Ballard's got the ball in the 50. That's pretty good field position.
1st and 10. We'll see what Gabriel and company can do. There's that swing out pass that they've been so accustomed to. And once again, the big tight end and Ellen, the senior, with the catch. And what a great move to go right back to this kid. Lost the ball after a giant pickup. And it ended up costing Ballard a touchdown on the very next play. You go right back to him, make sure he catches the ball, get some positive yards, get some confidence in him, and make sure he can finish this half.
And Riley Johnson hit him in the backfield, but he didn't wrap up. He just went in there and threw his shoulder, and he's too big. You got to wrap him. You might get some help, too, because he's a big boy. If you're going to take him one-on-one, you better wrap up and bring him down.
Of course, this kind of the chic stat anymore is yards after contact.
Yeah.
And if you look at Ellen, the last 3 catches he's made has had a lot of yards after contact. Play action turns into a handoff to Henderson on the...
Almost like a sprint draw.
Almost a draw, yeah.
Yeah.
They run it back into the center of the field and play action to your running back and then send him counter the other direction. That's a nice pickup for a first down.
That's a well orchestrated play right there.
At the half, we'll have Lynwood principal David Golden. We'll be up here to talk about the school year. Always great to talk about everything going on. And, of course, the excitement builds around high school football. Carries on the rest of the year. A lot of these kids have been in the weight room all summer long. And starts well before the school year. There's a drag down in the backfield, and Gabriel just could not escape dual pressure. And a couple of Lynwood Royals, including Van Lubeg, only 5'9", 170 pounds.
Line for Ballard's got to give the quarterback a little more help, because if he doesn't get the ball off real quick, he's running for his life. And, and a lot of that could be Lynwood's rush, too. Lynwood's got some big boys on the line, and they're penetrating real well.
And it's tough to know when to throw the ball away, too. And that's one of those cases where Gabriel, he caught with an intentional grounding earlier in the ball game, probably a little gun shy. And now he'll have to keep the ball, gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard. We'll bring up 3rd and long for Ballard.
Now, this is a big play for Ballard. 3rd and 9, you're down 28-0. You're on the Lynwood side of the field.
Good field position.
Great field position. You're probably in 2-down territory, and you need to
at least have this.
Yeah, get a drive going. Get some confidence going into the half.
8 minutes to go here in the first half of play. Ball on the 45-yard line brings up 3rd and 16 for Ballard. Is Gabriel and his cohort in the backfield, Hardiman. 3 wide receivers. Gabriel back to pass. There's a long overthrown ball. Went right over the top of Henderson. It looked and developed like a screenplay, but I'm not sure that's what it was, Scott.
Well, Lynwood blitzed Mr. Hammond, and he came right in and untouched, and the quarterback just kind of threw it and was hoping, little pray, that wide receiver would catch the ball. Now Ballard's got a punt. 4th and 16.
Hardiman back to do the punting. Deep for Lynwood is Ryan Trong. No, make that Smiley Tatum. And Tatum will watch the ball go right by him into the end zone for the touchback. And Ballard will start 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. We'll take a break before the next drive on the Sound Live Sports Network.
Edmonds Community College. Join Edmonds CC in celebrating its 50th anniversary at its celebration kickoff event Friday, September 16th, starting at 4 p.m. on Triton Field. For more information, go to www.edcc.edu/50.
A handoff on the left-hand side, Mikey Kirkman. No, I think that was Raymond Roa with the carry.
The tackle was made by Jalen Bauer. And made a nice play on that.
Bauer with the stop, but not before the first down sticks are moved. And Lynwood trying to get a little more distance before they head into the locker room at halftime. 7:22 on the clock. Hammond, plenty of time. Easy target. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Roa, who came out of the backfield. And Roa had probably at least 10, maybe 15 yards before you saw a white jersey inside his circle.
And give props to the Lynwood offensive line, because Hammond had all day. He had a nice pocket set up. He sat back there and took his time. He just overthrew the ball a little bit.
Impressed with both quarterbacks, really. Both able to run, both able to throw. Not afraid to do either. Decent athletes. And now Hammond will hand the ball up straight away. About 5 yards in goes Roa. Roa, bit undersized for a running back, but has such explosion in those first 2 steps.
Yeah. He looks like the type of athlete that if he gets past 5-7 yard zone, he's gone.
Running downhill at that point.
Yeah. And you know, they're 3rd and 6. This is about the farthest third down I think Lynwood had all night. It'd be interesting to see what they're going to run here.
3rd down and 6 with the ball on the 34-yard line. 6:42 to play first half. Lynwood up big right now. Hammond all the time in the world, and you can just tell how much that front 5 is working for him. And he wants to pass, and he'll finally keep it himself. Gets the first down. Takes some punishment in front of the Ballard bench, but picks up 7 yards and gets the first down.
I really liked the way he was directing traffic out there. He was calm. He didn't hesitate. He knew what he had to do. His guys weren't open, so he just took the ball, and, you know, he pointed to his blockers who to block, and he made a nice play and got a first down. It was really a nice job by Hammond.
Coach Bankhead, you listened to the interview in the pregame show with Steve Willits. Coach Bankhead talking about and making a point of talking about his lineman, that offensive lineman. He's very proud of the way those kids worked in the offseason and what they're going to mean to this football team during the season. A little juke, a little jive, and outside for 4 yards.
Roa.
A spin move about 2 yards deep by Roa. Spins him loose.
Yeah, you know, there's those electric feet, just moving, and quick. Very quick. Nice job.
That Madden move. You hear the crowd with the ooh.
Yeah, you know, the whole 100 people that are here, yeah, you did hear the ooh.
2nd down, 4 yards to go. David Savinkov, the junior, now in the ball game at wide receiver on the near side. The man in motion catches the football. That's Smiley Tatum, and he's upended about a yard deep, tackled by Ian Crocker, the sophomore.
Boy, that was a nice play by Ian Crocker because he was out there by himself. And you know what? That's what I call good heads-up tackling. He got his shoulder down. He wrapped. He got his arms around him and took him straight down. A nice play by number 22, Ian Crocker. Sophomore, 6'2", 175.
Coach Humphreys talking about his underclassmen, and they had such a senior-laden team last year that a lot of these kids just hadn't had the reps. They haven't had the snaps, so he didn't know what he was going to get out of them this year. And there's the handoff for the first down. Still moving the sticks forward. Lynwood handing the ball once again off to Roa, who has dominated the carries here in the second quarter.
And right now it looks like to me, Keith, that big offensive line from Lynwood's kind of wearing down the smaller Beaver line. That's how come Roa's getting these nice holes to run up the middle. The Beavers line is not real big, and Lynwood is. And the pounding is starting to take a little speed.
And Lynwood missing one of their big guys.
Yeah.
Harris Katuk, the 6'1", 225-pound leader on that line, has got his arm in a sling right now on the sideline. So they're only going to get bigger here next week or the week after whenever Harris can get back on the field.
Yeah, things look good for Lynwood. I mean, they really do. And that's a big clog in their line to get him. And when they get him back, it's going to be huge.
Ballard defense able to clog up the middle after a 3-yard gain. Still holding steady.
Yeah.
The air is still in the balloon. It's leaking a bit.
Yeah.
Down 28 points, but they're still here, still putting up the fight.
They're playing hard. Just Lynwood's a little bigger on the line.
Hammond now on the inside reverse. It'll go to Mikey Kirkman.
If his own receiver wasn't in his way that he knocked over, he might have gone a lot farther.
That is a tough play for a linebacker to see. Inside, you've already moved the entire pile to the right, and then squirting out from that fullback spot. Kirkman able to take the inside handoff without any really being able to see around the pile, and once you're gone, you're gone.
Well, when I was back in the day, they used to call that the Utah shuttle because Utah ran it and they would do the shuttle pass. That was a two-hand underhand pass, which I really have never seen. I've never seen a guy do that, but it worked beautifully.
And it's a little dangerous going forward, of course, because you miss in any way, shape, or form, or an offensive lineman just happens to get an elbow or a pinky finger in there and it's on the deck, and anybody's ball. So a little dangerous, but very effective when done correctly.
Yeah, and you could tell they practiced that play quite a bit because everybody ran it to perfection.
Lynwood, of course, Ballard tonight will host, or will go up to Quilceda Stadium, and Marysville Pilchuck will be the opponent at 7 p.m. next Friday night. And then they're back here at home at Edmonds District Stadium, a 5 p.m. early game versus Shorewood. The T-Birds, and of course Scott and I will be here for the call for that one.
And that should be interesting to see what the T-Birds got, because they came off a rough year last year, and they played a lot of underclassmen, and so hopefully that they've got some experience under the belt. They'll come out firing on all cylinders this year.
1st and 10 with the ball on the 29-yard line. Hammond back to pass, led very well. It's caught about the 25-yard line. And I think that was Strong, the wide receiver, with the catch. Well, they say 21. Riley Johnson. It was Johnson with the reception.
Another nice play. And like you said, he led the ball. He led the pass perfect. I mean, Lynwood's plays are really, really running well.
Nice tight spiral. Hammond has Kirkman and Roa beside him. Now Kirkman will go in motion. And Hammond with the handoff will give it to Roa. Roa got into the middle of the hole and had to bounce it outside. I think he maybe should have the first down.
Yeah, it looks like he got it.
And they will move the stick. So 1st down and 10 now inside the red zone. They'll mark it at the 18-yard line.
And I think the Lynwood coaches are trying to have a ball-controlled drive, run down the field.
It'll be the 8th play of the drive. They started, on their own 20-yard line.
Yeah, this is their best drive of the day. And, you know, it's a good-looking drive. They're mixing up the run and pass. Well-called game.
So 62 yards so far on this drive on 8 plays now. Hammond back to pass, going for the home run ball over the top, and did he get it? Touchdown!
What a catch. What a catch.
12 touchdowns a year ago. And Riley Johnson with another one, this time through the air on a catch. Of course, he started the ball game with 75 yards with his feet on a kickoff return.
He's having a pretty good half.
Has a decent half of football,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and you know what? That was a nice pass by Hammond, too, because from our vantage point, we saw the corner out there, and he threw that ball with such touch, went right over the corner's hand, and Riley made a beautiful catch. Well done.
Had to go up and time the ball. Both DB and receiver had a chance at the football, both going up simultaneously. And Johnson, tough at 5'11", maybe 6 foot tall.
Extra point.
Able to get up there above the defensive back and make the catch, and it's now 35-0. Lynwood running away with it here in the first half of play. 2:11 to go. And we'll take a break on the Sound Live Sports Network. See you in a bit.
High school football on the Sound Live Sports Network is presented by My Neighborhood News Network, South Snohomish County's online gathering place. Visit My Edmonds News, MLT News, and LynwoodToday.com for news, sports, and events about your community. And see what your neighbors are talking about.
Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. Riley Johnson with an 18-yard catch in the end zone from quarterback and fellow senior Alton Hammond. Hammond, a specimen of an athlete, 5'10", 215 pounds. And what you probably don't see is Hammond only really has one truly working arm that he's doing all this with, Scott.
It's amazing. I mean,
he's able to catch. And he starts in the shotgun formation, of course. So he catches the ball, transfers it into his throwing arm, and is able to get a tight spiral.
I'm telling you, folks, if you're home listening to this game, it's worth coming out to the stadium to watch this young man play because he's truly amazing. And he also is their top safety and defense, too.
Right.
I mean, he's a two-way player, and he's just one heck of a football player.
A lot of laundry on the field in front of the Ballard bench. After the kickoff return, Ballard, kind of the pile ended up inside the bench. I'm wondering if we didn't have a late hit, although the penalty flags are inside. Let's take a listen. A 5-yard only face mask penalty, so not intentional. But right now, Ballard will take anything you can give them.
You betcha they will. Yeah, they're it's probably a young man running in on the play, trying to make the play, and his hand got stuck out. It happens. And, 5 yards is 5 yards. But the referees are still discussing something over there. They moved the ball, but now they're having a little huddle.
As we have more than one penalty, but the referees have not picked up the penalty flags yet. And now here comes the white hat. The referees tonight, Roger Crystallieb, the referee umpire Aaron Banchero, linesman Leo Van Hollebeek, line judge Steve Fishman, back judge Aaron Wells.
And it's their first game of the season, too.
Yeah, so they're still working out the kinks, but I think we might have an additional penalty. We'll see how they work this.
Looks like Ballard's moving back. No?
Yeah, they're going to mark it off even further. There's another 5 yards. And so far, Crystallieb has yet to come out and tell us about this one, so we're just going to let it ride.
I'm just speculating that maybe they brought it from unintentional to an intentional. It's something I can think of.
It could be either that or they got the initial spot wrong and needed to advance the ball just a bit. Nonetheless, first down and 10 yards to go. The ball on Ballard's own 38-yard line. They've got 2 minutes and 3 seconds to go. They might as well try a little no-huddle offense here.
Yeah.
The 2-minute offense to see what you can do. Gabriel back to pass. Will end up keeping the ball himself, and into the pile he goes. Again, that swarming defense of Lynwood really taking command now over the undersized line of Ballard.
And that's what we've been talking about during the game. And the quarterback for Ballard, he went 2 steps back, and he just saw nothing but black shirts coming in. He did the best he could to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Ballard does have some big boys. You've got Russell Uglictone, the junior, 6 foot 270. Not a small man. So they do have some folks up front that can create a good wall, but you got to give the guy some time to work out behind you.
Yeah.
Hold that block just an extra second and a half.
And incomplete pass there. The other thing I noticed is Lynwood's blitzing almost every play. That time Hammond came in from his outside safety position. And that's the third time I think I've seen him blitz. So they're sending people. And they might be in the head of that quarterback for Ballard because he sees his safety coming all the time.
All the time.
And nobody's picking him up.
Had to get the ball out quickly there. The intended receiver was Eli Wolk, a senior, 5'7", 155 pounds. Twins on the near side. And a different quarterback now. That's Ian Crocker. And Crocker might have been the one that made that last pass. Just realizing that now, that number 22 in the backfield, not number 10. So now 4th down and 8 yards to go and a timeout as Lynwood wants to get the ball back and see what they can do in a short hurry-up offense with 1:15 to go here in the half.
What do you think? You think they're going to punt at 4th and 8 and try to get out of the half unscathed anymore? Or do you think they'll go for it? Tough position.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. I think at this point in time, you're in learning mode. So let's get our special teams group on the field and let's play everything straight from here on out.
Yeah, that's what
because we've got a lot of league games coming up, and we need to teach some kids some stuff.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I think they should punt the ball and make Lynwood go run the half out and see what happens. Or
Ballard with the game tonight. will go on to play at home at Memorial Stadium, 5 p.m. versus Roosevelt a week from tonight, and then on the road at Cleveland the following week. So the Ballard's varsity schedule looking like Roosevelt, Cleveland, West Seattle, Chief Sealth, Garfield, and Liberty. And, of course, the revamped Metro 3A with the 3A private, 3A public situation. Looks a lot different than the normal divisions that we're used to with Valley and Sound, etc.
I think Liberty's, aren't they in the South Puget Sound League?
And now a fake punt.
Yeah.
And coming around the end is Daniel Hardiman, and he'll be short. Almost looked like the rugby-style attempt at the kick, and once nobody was coming around the end, Hardiman just said, why not, worth a shot?
Yeah, and
Let's take a chance.
And Michael Kirkman came up and just laid him out.
Mikey not a small man,
No.
208.
And he gets the steam going. He can really, he hits hard. And he just stopped that punter right. So now Lynwood takes over with great field position. Minute 8 left. They're on the 46-yard line.
And they've been a big play team.
Yeah.
It doesn't take them much. They've got the 75-yard kickoff return at the opening kick from Riley Johnson. They got a 34-yard Smiley Tatum catch, a 19-yard Hammond run, and a 72-yard Hammond run for a TD. So a lot of big plays. Here's Hammond, tries to dodge, tries to spin, and the ball comes loose. I think Kirkman ended up on it. Both teams pointing each way. I don't think either one really knows. Wishful thinking on the part of both teams.
Yeah, I thought Kirkman had the ball too.
And now the referees and referee Roger Chrisley will give us a second down fingers.
And on that play,
so Lynwood will get the ball back.
On that play, Ballard blitz number 21, David Hardiman, from his linebacker spot. He came in around the end, and that's why the quarterback went up inside, because 21 was coming around the end. And he saw that. The quarterback saw that during the play because he was pointing to him. So he had the read, but his blocker didn't pick him up.
Back to passes, Hammond looking deep. Has a nice ball. No. Smiley Tatum, the intended receiver, about 35 yards deep down the left-hand side, falls incomplete.
Yeah,
and why not take a stab at it? You've had success there once. Why not try it again?
Sure. Go for it all. You know, and that was nice defense by the number 23 for the Beavers. He was all over it.
That's Fresh Hosser. Fresh really playing a lot of fundamental defensive back out there.
Yeah, and he's one-on-one, and that's tough, man.
It is very tough, but he's stride for stride with some bigger receivers.
He's out there on the island.
Third down and long, make it 20 yards. Hammond back to pass. Now a screen play. They'll get it to Kirkman. Kirkman into the smaller defensive back, a stiff arm, and out of bounds it goes.
Got it.
Kirkman pops up like a pinball in a machine. He loves where he is right now.
You know, that was set up so nice. They just let the defensive lineman from Ballard come running in. They went right over the top, and he got the first down on a 3rd and 20.
22-yard pickup.
Yeah, that was a beautiful
on the
play.
screenplay by Mikey Kirkman. We'll bring up first down and 10 on the 34-yard line, and you've got 33 seconds to do it. Of course, the running clock rule, 40 points. In the WIA, there's a strike over the middle. A beautiful ball comes loose, picked up by Ballard.
They called him down.
So either incomplete down. We'll see what the call is on the field. I think it should go back to Ballard. And you've got two officials pointing to the turf.
Well, then
so it might be a knee down after the pickup on the fumble. We'll get the referee's perspective. I think it's Ballard's football.
Or it should be an incomplete pass. If not Ballard's football, but it looks like they're giving it to him. Wow,
down by contact. So they call it a catch and a first down. They'll move the sticks. The ball placed on the 14-yard line, and the clock will now start at 25 seconds. Hammond in the shotgun, rolls out a bit to his left. Incomplete pass. And low.
Yeah, he skipped that one. The Ballard number 56 was coming in, and he saw him, and he just threw the ball in the
Penalty flag down. The intended receiver was Andrew Warren, the senior. That's tough as a receiver when you see the ball coming at you. There's really nothing you can do when it's a worm burner like that.
No. And Rodney Thread came in at number 56 for the Beavers, and he was at full. He's a big boy too. He's 6'3", 265, and so the quarterback just threw the ball on the ground. Mr. Hammond.
And that will go against Lynwood. We'll get the call here.
Got to be a hold, I think. It is.
Yeah, you got it. Holding on the offense. So the ball will be moved back to the 30-yard line, 1st and 21. But shoot, a play before you had the screen play to Kirkman that went 22 yards. So Hammond back to pass, has plenty of time, caught over the middle, plenty of room, one move, make it another. Great hit on the left-hand side and into the end zone. Out of bounds and a touchback.
Oh.
That will nullify a touchdown. And the ball will go back to the Beavers at the 20-yard line. Holy smoke.
And the receivers down there trying to talk to the refs, saying he was out on the one.
Just inside the pylon. This is where the box
touchback.
in the touchdown.
Wow.
That pylon means a whole different thing than it does when you strike it with one arm out and you hold on to the football.
Now, on that play, instead of trying to reach over like they do in the NFL, and you're not quite as strong as the NFL players, maybe you should just hold on to the ball and go out on the one. Take your medicine and have another play.
Yeah, you got one or two at 10 seconds to go. You probably have another shot at it. And the way you've been running the football, it's not a guarantee.
No.
But the chances are fairly high you're going to put up another 7.
I think so. Yeah, I think, yeah. But everybody wants to be the star and hold the ball out, and that time it bit them.
35-0 could have been a lot worse for Ballard. Instead, they'll get one more play and just knee the football and walk into the locker room and talk things over.
That's a smart thing to do right there.
At the end of a half, we're underway here under the lights at Edmonds District Stadium. Game 1 of the regular season football is back. Edmonds Woodway, Lynwood, Mount Lake Terrace, and Meadowdale call this place home. And Lynwood right now at home, feeling pretty good at the home cooking. 35-0 on top of the visiting Ballard Beavers. We'll be back with the Action Jackson halftime program in just a moment. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
High school football on the Sound Live Network is presented by My Neighborhood News Network, South Snohomish County's online gathering place. Visit My Edmonds News, MLT News, and LynwoodToday.com for news, sports, and events about your community, and see what your neighbors are talking about.
Edmonds Community College. Join Edmonds CC in celebrating its 50th anniversary at its celebration kickoff event Friday, September 16th, starting at 4 p.m. on Triton Field. For more information, go to www.edcc.edu/50.
Clogged drain or other plumbing problems?
Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. Ballard and Lynwood at Edmonds District Stadium, and the visitors having a tough time. 35-0 Lynwood at the half, and I'm joined by David Goldman, the principal longtime principal. Been a while.
Yes,
at Lynwood High School. How long actually has it been?
This is my 16th year.
16th year.
Yep, yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations. You've seen both schools.
Yes. Yep.
And got to do the transition. That had to have been a ball.
It was great. We were part of. I was fortunate enough to be part of the planning team that actually designed the new school, and worked with the architects. It was really an exciting time, and we got such a great new building. So happy that the taxpayers passed the bond and we were able to build it. It's great.
I have to tell you, every time I go out there and when we're either doing a football game or a sophomore game or whatever it happens to be, those fields are full all the time. Do you ever shut the lights off?
Yeah, late at night.
Okay.
Hopefully. So. Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little football. You
Okay.
mentioned the excitement, the Lynwood excitement. Boy, you've come off some great girls basketballs, had some phenomenal tournaments, some phenomenal athletes come through. Football team coming out this year. You got a whole lot of seniors. They don't look too shabby right now at all.
No, it's great to have the continuity of coaching, too. For the first time, we've got a coach who's been there for 3 years. That's really important. He works in the building, so he's able to see the kids on a daily basis and recruit within the building. Lots of times we have kids that aren't asked to go out for sports, even though they're fine athletes. So now we've got a great coaching group and a coach who's been with us for a while who works in the building, and he's a great role model. And now it's become kind of cool to play football again, so it's great to see that.
It's cool to win.
Yeah, that always
When you're
helps.
winning, cool is always the case,
You're
no matter
either
what.
going up or you're
going down. That's right.
Exactly.
Now, Lynwood obviously on the way up. A lot of people have them in this realigned Wesco 3A South. They've got them at the top, if not the top, at least in the upper crust of that coaches poll and in a lot of preseason polls. And that itself has to be very exciting to be able to look at your team name in the paper and say, hey, look where we are. We're in the stratosphere this year.
Yeah, having lived through the lean years, it's nice to be respected, and I think we are. I think our kids are getting a lot of respect in the media and everything like that. So we're looking forward. As long as they play hard and they're great school citizens, we're happy. We're happy with that.
We talked earlier while we were in the break, just before we came on the air, about some of the things that were changing. At least, you say you've been there 16 years. You've seen a lot of changes. One thing happening in the classroom this year that is fresh and new is the fact that all kids will be issued their own Chromebook.
Yep.
And that's the first I've heard of anything like this. But you said this has happened before in the middle school, and now a lot of the high schoolers are going to get a chance to do that. Things changing at Lynwood High School. Is it only Lynwood that's doing this program?
No, it's district-wide.
District-wide,
All
okay.
the high schools, all 4 comprehensive and our alternative school, all going one-to-one computers. We've distributed about 1,000 computers already. We'll continue doing it the first week of school.
Do you get one?
They give me a laptop.
No, okay. You didn't get the Chromebook?
No.
Maybe you should lobby.
Well, we wanted to give the resources to the kids
Okay.
where it belongs. Yeah.
All right.
So, but it's been great, and we're hoping our teachers have been really great about trying to get professional development to use the Chromebooks, that kids will be able to hand in assignments online. We're kind of hoping to go paperless as the years progress. I think in the long run it'll be a savings because we won't have to spend so much money on those huge textbooks.
All right.
A Chromebook only costs about as much as 2 or 3 of these big, thick, heavy textbooks that you get nowadays. So it's really, I think, a good investment, and the kids are excited about doing it. I saw a lot of kids leaving the high school this past week who had been issued their Chromebooks, and they're walking out with a smile, and they're getting used to them over this week, and then they'll hit the ground running next week.
When's the dog ate my Chromebook? When is that coming?
Well, it's a little harder to do.
Yeah, I think
you
it
know?
is.
And the teacher can say, well, it was online all night. You could have submitted it at 11 o'clock last night before the dog got active, I guess.
In all seriousness, this is where the future is.
Yeah.
Everything is heading this direction, and if you don't have the ability to wrap yourself around technology, you're going to fall behind. And what a testament to the district to be able to do this.
Again, it's a situation where we have to the voters of the Edmonds School District are passing technology levies that enable us to get this great equipment to kids, and the kids are ahead of us. They know the technology, so it helps engage them in the classroom. It helps them do research at home. It's just a real positive thing, but it all starts with the voters approving those technology levies and giving us their support.
Well, you've got your Chromebooks. Now's your chance to get those things set up with a bookmark on Sound Live Sports Network and watch the Lynwood Royals roll their way through 3A District South, Wesco South this year. Principal, it's been a pleasure. Thanks very much for taking a couple moments up here and being with us on the Action Jackson halftime report.
It was my pleasure, and go Royals.
All right. 35-0, Lynwood on top of Ballard at the half. We'll see what the Beavers can muster coming out of the tunnel to start the second half. We'll see you right after this on the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain or other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Unclogging most internal drains for just $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Edmonds Community College. Join Edmonds CC in celebrating its 50th anniversary at its celebration kickoff event Friday, September 16th, starting at 4 p.m. on Triton Field. For more information, go to www.edcc.edu/50.
Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network, the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime program as Lynwood, the Royals, come out of the tunnel. Have to be a fired up first half tunnel, first half pep talk for Keontae Bankhead and staff as they lead the Ballard Beavers 35-0. And Scott Brudevold, you look at the drive chart and even the non-drive, it was a Riley Johnson right off the bat, 75 yards on the opening kickoff. Will return it to make it 7-0. And it's really been in the scoring column all Lynwood. But on the field and between the 50s, it necessarily can't count Ballard out.
No, Ballard's been playing hard. I mean, they're doing everything they possibly can. They're just having mistakes, and the mistakes are taking them out of their scoring drives. A fumble, a block, a hold. Just a combination of many things are just taking them out, and they're moving the ball. And, if you ask Coach for the Royals, I'm sure if you told him he'd be up 35-0 at half, after watching the film, he might not even be sure he would be up 35-0. Of course, it helps when you take the kickoff first play of the game.
It gives you a little boost, doesn't it?
It sure does.
And head coach Ross Humphreys in his first year on the Ballard side of things, in his halftime talk to his group, has to be pleased with a lot of things he's seeing. It can't be all negative. There's been a lot of movement of the chains. They've got a lot of first downs back-to-back. Just can't seem to string things together. And I think that stop when you hit the penalty inside the red zone, you're down on the 4-yard line, you're looking to strike for the first time in the season, and that's denied. You got to be one of those times when you got to go in and say, guys, don't hang your head. You're playing some good football.
Yeah, and I noticed that they haven't even been on the field yet. So I know he's using this time as a good teaching time, and he's going through everything with the players and telling them, hey, we're in this game. We can come out and play hard. Keep your heads up. You're doing well. It's the first game of the season. Let's use this game as a learning experience.
Lynwood, looking at their schedule coming up, we talked about tonight's game so far, well in charge of Ballard, and this team, one of those upper-level teams in the Wesco 3A. You see they're on the road at Marysville, Pilchuck, the Gold Tex there, the home games, and all of those, of course, you can see on Sound Live Sports Network. Shorewood will be at home. Edmonds, Woodway, that's a biggie. Of course, when you're playing at home, you sometimes play a team who is at home also on the road. And Edmonds, Woodway will be the visitors in that game there on September the 30th. And then, of course, the other home game, the homecoming, as the October 14th. Make sure you write that down. That will be versus the Seagulls of Everett as they come in. And, of course, next week, a little bit of a different look as Woodinville will come in, and you and I, Scott, will be doing that game against Edmonds Woodway. The Warriors, a 5 p.m. kickoff. And then following that in the nightcap, Redmond will come in to face the Mavericks of Meadowdale at 8 p.m. And just coming up here after another half of football, Steve Willits will call the game. The Seahome Mariners will come in all the way down I-5. Another one of those teams from the north to come in to face the newly classified Mount Lake Terrace Hawks. And that will be the final game tonight. And Mount Lake Terrace, different look, different classification. It'll be interesting to see how all the mathematics plays out to get them into the playoffs in the newly founded, six leagues, 4 spots through 6 leagues of 2A football. It gets a little crazy. You got to get your abacus and your slide ruler and your string theory out in order to get that one put together. Yeah. I'm glad we don't have to do it.
It's above my pay scale.
Nonetheless, we're here on the Sound Live Sports Network. We'll take one more time out on the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime report. It is Lynwood 35, Ballard 0. First game of the newly christened 2016 season. We'll be back on the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain or other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Unclogging most internal drains for just $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Edmonds Community College. Join Edmonds CC in celebrating its 50th anniversary at a celebration kickoff event Friday, September 16th, starting at 4 p.m. on Triton Field. For more information, go to www.edcc.edu/50.
Clogged drain or other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Unclogging most internal drains for just $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
A lot of offense, a lot of points put up by Lynwood. As we get ready to start the second half, Lynwood will be kicking off to Ballard. Riley Johnson started things off with a 75-yard kickoff return. The opening kick made it 7-0. They got the ball later. The next Lynwood drive after a turnover on downs by Ballard. Smiley Tatum caught a Hammond pass 34 yards down the right-hand side to make it 14-0. Ballard would then punt after losing 10 yards on the drive. And then Lynwood would go 19 yards on a TD. After starting on the Ballard 26, it would be Hammond that runs it in to make it 21-0. There's the run around the end, cutting things back, leaping a player. And a good field position to start the second half. Ballard will start things on the 40. Couple exchanged drives will start the second quarter of play, and Hammond busts down the left-hand side, cuts back to the middle for 72 yards, and the touchdown to make it 28-0. And then the final score of the first half, Hammond finding Riley Johnson 18 yards in the right-hand side, deep in the end zone, going up and over a Ballard defender to haul in the catch. 35-0 is your score here as Ballard will start their first drive of the second half. And they will put the starting quarterback back in, Corbin Gabriel. And they'll hand the ball off. No play action fake. Gabriel will take it himself. Gets some running room, gets into the defensive backfield, past the sticks for the first down marker, and past midfield. Long 15, 17-yard run by the senior quarterback.
You know, that was a neat-looking play. He came around, he fakes the handoff to the fullback, kept the ball, and went around the right end. Nice job, nice play by the Beavers. And that's the way they got to start the half. Now they got some momentum going, and they can get a nice drive and make this a ball game.
Ball on the 46-yard line. Ballard, yeah, they're down 35 points, but not an unimpressive run-over-me type of team. They're just not.
No, not at all. And they moved the ball. They play good defense. It's just the costly penalties and silly errors.
The hard count almost drew off Lynwood. There's the pass. It's caught by Matt Melapione, the senior wide receiver. Nice outside-in pass play.
Beautiful play. Got another first down. And this is what Ballard needs to do. They're building momentum. They're getting their confidence in. And Lynwood's kind of on their heels right now.
Ballard came out and started the ball game exactly like this. Now come out a couple of plays. They look very well scripted. Maybe that's the key. You got a couple you've been able to talk about it. Maybe the scripted 2 and 3 plays are really what this Ballard team's needs. They know exactly what is going on. Every player knows their position, their place on the field. There's a long pass over the top, caught at the 10 into the end zone. Touchdown, Ballard.
Big tight end.
Chris Hillen Elon, the tight end, 6'2", 220, and touchdown, 34-yard catch.
Yeah, he was out there, nobody even picked him up. That was a nice play action by the quarterback. Everybody bought in on the fake handoff and hit the big tight end over the middle. Nice job by the Beavers. And that's what they need. Now they got some momentum going. That's exactly what they needed.
That'll breed some confidence quickly on the white jersey side, the far sideline. Need a little fist pump from head coach Ross Humphreys. He's feeling good about things all of a sudden. There is the hold, and it is kicked right into the wall, soccer style, and the ball will be ruled dead. And it will be a blocked PAT, 35-6.
Boy, they came right up the middle on that one, just like they did on that block punt.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the interior line for Ballard needs a little more coaching. Maybe be coached up a little bit, because that shouldn't happen. That really shouldn't happen.
3 plays. Started on their own 40, so 60 yards for the touchdown in 3 plays. Ballard showing a little Bud Lightning, and I mentioned it before. I think scripting a couple of plays for these young men. We talked to the coaching staff before, the Ballard coaching staff before this ball game, and they mentioned about how everyone's so new, and a lot of these football players that they've recruited to play, great athletes, have not had a lot of football experience. And sometimes when you just script a couple of plays work really well in practice, it means all the world to the psyche of these young men.
Well, it's confidence. You're getting the confidence. It works in practice. Let's go out and make it work in the game, and it does. And I think you're right on the money when you said, they sat in there, they took a little longer at halftime, and maybe the coaches were going over and saying, this is what we got to run, guys, and it'll work. Run it. And, and that's exactly what happened in that drive. That was a beautiful drive.
Ballard now will kick off, and a little squib kick through the middle will go into the hands of Riley Johnson. Johnson maybe thinking a little bit about how things went the very first kickoff of the ball game, going the same exact way.
That was a good return. He took it out to the 40. So now let's see what Lynwood's going to come up with. First drive, second half. See how Ballard's defense is going to adapt to Lynwood's offense. A little chess game here.
Bankhead right now got his entire defense in front of him in a huddle, pumping them up on the sideline as he's got his seniors in. And maybe that's exactly what it is. It looks like it may be a couple of underclassmen over here that he's coaching up, that you're going to get some time. Get ready. I'm going to call your number soon. Here's the handoff from Hammond, met in the backfield as Mikey and Kirkman can't get more than 2 yards after a scrum and an entire pile. Getting there first was big number 74 for Ballard, Eric Town, the junior.
And Ballard's come out at halftime now, and they got a little more fire. You could see it. You could see it in the way they're
Getting
playing.
The touchdown helps.
It sure does.
A couple of points on the board.
Yeah.
2nd down and 8. 10 minutes and 30 seconds to go. 3rd quarter of play. Seaholm, Mount Lake Terrace coming up after this ball game. Steve Willits with the call. There's the handoff up the middle. It's Roa. Roa will get past the first down marker, picks up 10 yards and a first down.
He put some beautiful moves on the linebackers and the safety on that play.
Zed Webster with the stop for Ballard. Ball will be placed on the 46-yard line. 4th play from scrimmage now on this drive for Lynwood inside Ballard territory. Of course, confidence builds week to week. You can get another touchdown here and show them you can do things in the second half just like the first. And now trying to strip the ball, the host of Ballard defenseman. And Roa once again the ball carrier, and he is such an explosive 2 and 3 first steps.
Yeah, he gets out there on the wing, and he made a beautiful cut on that one too. He took 3 steps out, cut inside his tackles, which is very impressive, and then he took it right up the field for a first down.
5th play of the drive, 3 first downs on this drive for Lynwood. And the Royals, the Royal machine, continuing to cruise along in this football game. 9:43 to go. Hammond, swing out pass. It's caught by Smiley Tatum. He'll take it near the first down marker, 8 yards. So big chunks now. Lynwood able to put both runs and pass plays together.
And the coaches were telling me before the game that Smiley Tatum is their speed guy. They said if he gets open, he's got wheels. We saw it with his first touchdown, in the first half on that pass. But right there, you could tell they set him up on a little flanker screen, and they're trying to get him some open space. And he got 8 yards. It was a nice play, though. Real good run play.
Second down for the Royals. Hammond with those neon leg pads, or wraps, neon green. Makes the play call now, and will take the shotgun snap. Has 2 in the backfield, and now we'll do a little play action. And a penalty flag.
I think a guy from Lynwood, the Lynwood lineman flinched, and I think that's what they're going to get him on.
Not often you're going to get an audible out of a quarterback, but an athlete and a senior and a thinker like the one that Lynwood has, Alton Hammond, able to at least get some authority to make the calls.
And the hard part in high school football and even younger kids is keeping those linemen down. When he calls the audible, they're down so much longer that they want to move, they want to go.
Second down, 8 yards to go. Hammond will keep it himself. Now he'll throw downfield. Caught over the middle and a beautiful catch. Smiley Tatum, the receiver. And that was a thread-the-needle style pass because, again, defensively, Ballard playing stride for stride. That time Zed Webster had a mark right on Smiley Tatum. Just couldn't get a paw in there.
And it's too bad it's coming back because it got a hold on the Royals. But, you know what, in the way that the quarterback, Hammond, rolled and it got himself some extra time in the space and then threw a dart. That was real nice. So it's too bad it's got to come back, though.
So 2 straight yellow flags. I don't know if there's another kind. I guess during Breast Cancer Awareness Day, we'll get, and Prostate Cancer Awareness, we'll get some different kinds of flags. But in this case, laundry on the field will back up the Royals and put the ball at midfield. So second down, they'll call it 24 yards. Might as well be the Snohomish County line. There's the screen pass. Caught at the 50-yard line. Escapes a tackler. Another one. It's Roa. Now a penalty flag will fly and down at the 35-yard line after a lot of shake and a lot of bake. Roa pops up, but this one might be coming back also after the hold.
Yeah, I think we got a block in the back there. On number 22, Jared Anderson. I saw him, and I saw the coach go after him too. He came up and pushed his guy right in the back, right in front of the ref. Usually they catch you.
Yep, block in the back it is. And the Royals just cruising along in big chunks. 8 yards, 15 yards, 20 yards. And now we'll find themselves going back in very round numbers.
Yeah.
5 and 10 and 15.
Yeah, it's kind of like what was happening to Ballard in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, it's similar. They're talking about accepting it. I think it's a no-brainer. Push them back.
Captain on the defense, Corbin Gabriel, the quarterback / linebacker, will go out and talk things over on how they want to get the placement on this call here, whether they want to take the down or they want to back Lynwood up even further. And from the spot of the ball, if it's a 10-yard penalty,
it'd be second and 20,
second,
34, 34.
Maybe you'll get it's from the spot of the foul, so really only going to gain about 3 yards of negative distance.
Yeah.
So I can understand where you might want to
take the down.
Well, take the down, but then you're only, if you decline it, the ball's up at the 35-yard line. That's a lot more forgiving to Lynwood. Yeah, at the end of the day, no-brainer.
Yeah,
it really was not a bad choice.
No, Lynwood just called a timeout.
Well, timeout on the field. We'll take one ourselves. Ballard and Lynwood locking horns in Game 1 of the 3A football season. here at Edmonds District Stadium. 9:14 to go, third quarter. Lynwood on top, 35-6. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain or other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Unclogging most internal drains for just $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
After the timeout, Lynwood will find themselves 2nd and 27 with the ball in their own territory. Blitz is on. Hammond has to roll out, has to run. Will tuck it up under and just about get caught. Shoestring catch past the 30-yard line near the first down marker. Whoa! Did that just happen?
It looks like Hammond's got eyes in the back of his head. I mean, he just knew he had that quarterback presence where that man is right on my back and I got to get rid of it, and he got rid of it at the right time and got a huge play.
And a monster catch to boot, having to go down on the shoestrings to make the catch. I believe that was Eli Wolk, the senior, number 9, who made the shoe top catch, and now a fumbled snap. Hammond will just have to try to do anything with it he possibly can. Still might get the first down. He'll be just short. It'll bring up 4th down and 1.
So I'm guessing
at the 27.
The Royals are going to just go for it here, I think. They're not going to gain anything punting. I think they're out of field goal range. 4th and 1, I can just see them going for it. Or it's 4th and 3, huh?
4th and 3 after a loss of a yard. Lynwood had some pretty good field position and then just squandered it away, penalty after penalty on this drive. It seems like they've had the ball the entire quarter and largely have.
Yeah.
And still, this will be only the 7th play of the drive. There's the hand up, Mikey with it. Kirkman will get past the first down marker. He picks up 4, maybe 5 yards, and it'll be good enough for a Royals first down.
Nice hard run by Mikey Kirkman. Nice hard run right up the middle. Good call. Good play.
You were just in a, 20, what was it? What did I call? 27-yard hole?
Yeah.
1st and 27.
Yeah.
And now you find yourself
3 plays
still
later.
in control of your own drive destiny. And a long pass to Kirkman. Overthrows him. Mikey coming out of the backfield. Now, that was Smiley Tatum, rather.
Smiley, yeah. And
Smiley Tatum
and he was open.
Had a lot of room.
Yeah. Mr. Hammond knows he missed that one, and that's okay. You're going to miss a few. He'd like to have that one back, I think.
Tatum, 6'1". Nice, tall, lanky, speed demon receiver. A lot of times in the high school ranks, you'll get the speed or you'll get the height. Rarely do they come together.
Nice mix to have, and hands.
And some on hands count, too.
Yeah.
And now Hammond will pull the ball back from the would-be handoff. He'll take it himself, and a smash right about the marker to get the first down. It comes up grabbing his chin guard, has to adjust his helmet a little bit because he took a shutter pop. Both players got up shuddering just a little bit. They were shaking and bobbing and weaving after that collision.
And that's what his coach said in the pregame interview to Steve is he won't go down. He's gonna hit. And they'd like to see him slide. He says he holds his breath every time he sees him run.
3rd down and a ball length to go. In the shotgun comes Hammond, hands the ball off to Roa. Well into the backfield was the defender, Ian Crocker. I don't know if he upended him in enough time. I believe he's still short.
I think he's short according to the spot I'm seeing.
Nice inside push by Crocker, the sophomore.
Boy, you know what? He's had a heck of a game.
He had a great game.
Yeah, he's getting penetration all the time. He's going to be somebody fun to watch in the next couple of years.
4th down and half a yard to go. You got them stopped once. If you're Ballard, can you do it twice? 6:31 to go, third quarter. Hammond all by himself in the backfield. Are they going to try a strike here? No, he's going to cup it and try to do it himself. He's got to get around the end and upended beautifully by Eric Henderson, the defensive back. And this one's going to be close.
Boy, they're going to have to measure this one. I don't think he got it.
I think he's short by a nose,
I think
and that
he's
may
short
be a
too.
Ballard ball on downs. We'll find out. They eyeball it, and
Brendan on the chain.
referee Chris Lieb will call in for the chain gang. First time we've seen. They gotta march the field length too. This is one of those guys where you gotta pick up and in coordinated effort march yourself 25 yards across the field.
Yeah, they're getting their exercise on this.
See what the degree of difficulty is. They're doing pretty well. That's not easy. I've done it before.
Me too. They're doing great. And so I just don't think they got it.
I think
Keith.
they're a bit short also. And right now, looking through the binoculars down, they're being very careful to mark it right at the yard line, and they
They're
are short by 3 inches.
Yeah.
So Ballard will get the ball back on downs after an 8-play, very bizarre drive by Lynwood.
Yeah, Lynwood.
Certainly nothing to write home about.
No, and they had those penalties like Ballard was having the first time. And, Ballard's got to be pumped because they went out and they stopped them. And
2 chances, first down to go is a nose of a football away, and you were able to make the stop. You got to credit 2 guys on that final stand. One, of course, was Ian Crocker, who got into the backfield on the blitz.
And Mr. Henderson.
And then Eric Henderson did a nice job at least getting a hand on Hammond and making the tackle.
Yeah, those 2 boys, they did well on that drive.
So Ballard able to take over. Then their last drive were able to start on their own 40-yard line, go 60 yards to get the touchdown to make it 35-6. We'll see what they've got in the gas tank here on their second drive of the second half. Still in the ball game at the quarterback spot is Gabriel. He calls the shots. He's got the shotgun formation. They'll hand the ball off straight away. And bouncing it outside goes Hardiman. Hardiman will be, upended. It may be a grab of the
clothesline, horse collar.
Horse collar. That would have been my call. I don't see any penalty markers on the field.
I don't either.
So it must have been clean, but just the way he bounced around there at the very end made it look like his neck was flying.
And that's amazing. You and I can see that up here, and we have 4 or 5 refs out there, and nobody called it. Well, unfortunate, because I think his neck did fly around there.
It sure looked like it. Second down and about half a yard to go. Ball's on the 24-yard line and not wasting any time to chew up some yardage. Again, Ballard has a lot of positive offerings on this offense. They just have got to put a couple of drives together. Put the man in motion, that's Henderson. They'll hand it to him on the fly sweep. He's got some running room. Will pick up the first down. Tries to elude a tackler, gets around the end. Looking for blockers now, back toward the 40-yard line. It takes 4 Lynwood Royals to drag him down.
Great cutback, too.
Henderson only 5'8" and $175, and I think that's generous.
Yeah, I do, too. And he came around, and you know what? You know what I was impressed about that run? He was patient. He kind of let his blockers get in front of him, and he saw the gap, and he made the cut. Very well done.
First down and 10 yards to go with the ball on the 42-yard line. Ballard offense rolling a bit now. Play action fake to go over the middle. Caught at the 45-yard line, and down goes Elon. The senior tight end has been all over the map, and that time found a seam behind the linebacking core, and a quick strike will pick up another first down.
And I think Ballard sees something there. They see something in the Royals defense where they can find that hole for Mr. Elam, because that's about the 4th time they've hit him on that route.
Into Lynwood territory. Now they fake handoff, I guess you will, kind of turnstile both players around, and unfortunate for Gabriel was not able to get any speed under the keeper.
Yeah, that was a design keeper for Corbin. That was a play call. He faked the handoff to the running back.
Makes you wonder if Hardman didn't think he was going to get the ball there.
It kind of looked like it. Yeah, it sure did.
He sure held on to it a little longer than he was supposed to in my judging eyes.
Yeah, I agree with you.
2nd down and 11 after a loss on the play. Lynwood in that, boy, it looks like almost like a 4-3 defense. They'll swing the ball out and almost is fortunate that it is dropped or incomplete. The intended receiver is Oliver Colleran, the sophomore, 6'2", $170, and he catches that. He's 2 yards deep in the backfield because he had a lot of heavy pursuit on him right after that ball was made.
I think he would have got hit pretty hard there. Lynwood really, really read that beautifully. They got, especially their safety and linebacker both came over on that one too.
Twins in front of us here on the near side with solo back is Hardiman. Gabriel in the shotgun with a knee pump. Now will put the man in motion. That's Osser. And now the handoff. They'll keep the ball. Here he goes. It's straight up the middle for Gabriel. He'll be short of the 1st down, but I think this is, again, where you say, okay, guys, let's see what we can do for 2 yards on 4th.
Yeah, we got to go. And, that's the same play they just ran on the left side here, except that time he didn't take so long to fake the handoff, and he got rid of it, and he got positive yards. It was a good-looking play.
4th down and 3. Almost 40 yards now on the drive. Ballard can move the football.
Oh, by all means. Ballard's got a lot of total yards for this ball game.
Gabriel, shotgun formation, trying the hard count. Lynwood not biting. Now back to throw. Caught. And a 1st down marker. Eland still on his feet. Breaks one tackle out near the 20-yard line. Call it the 23. And a big-time Ballard play there.
Go to your money, man. That's his 5th catch I've counted tonight. And I would keep going there. They got something. He's a lot bigger than the linebacker that's trying to cover him. And he's getting open.
That ball thrown a little low. A little behind him, perhaps. Able to get the big hands down there to make the stab. And those soft hands on a big man, especially a tight end, really forgiving for a quarterback.
He's a good-looking athlete.
Now back to pass again, trying to go for the home run ball. Henderson is the man to catch the ball. He got it? Touchdown!
What a catch!
Holy smoke! They say 5'8". He had the defensive back to leap over, and that was Riley Johnson at 5'11". And the little man goes up and grabs the football for the 2nd Ballard touchdown tonight.
That one looked like one of those ones where I want it more than you do, and I'm going to go get it. He got up. What a play. Nice catch.
Ballard going right back to work after that first touchdown drive. Now have 2 drives for 2 scores here in the 2nd half.
And basically, if I was a Ballard coach, I'd say, hey, right now we're winning the 2nd half, because they are. They're going for 2.
And there's the catch, and into the end zone. Touchdown. Not a touchdown, but a 2-point conversion. They got it nonetheless. Hardiman comes out of the backfield. Got a great block on that left-hand side by the wide receiver to spring him loose and at least give him that effort to get into the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
And he fought for every yard he got. And, like we've been saying the whole game, Keith, Ballard it's not been a lack of effort. They're out here playing their hearts out. And things are starting to work, The momentum, they're getting a little momentum. The confidence is building. And, they're in this game right now. We got
3 touchdowns away.
Yeah.
You got to get maybe another one here.
We got
to see what the defense can do. Because
Yeah.
Lynwood shot themselves in the foot the last drive, and you can't ask for them to do that again many more times.
Right.
So you're going to have to make some defensive stops using your defense. Hope for a little luck.
Yeah.
And get the ball back.
No, you're right. You're right about that. But, that's 15 minutes of football, and, you get a turnover or something. But you're right. The defense has to come up and make a stop.
Smiley Tatum and Riley Johnson deep to receive for Lynwood. As Oliver Colleran, the place kicker will squib it off to the right-hand side. The ball's loose. Ballard has it.
There we go. Onside kick.
That absolutely a design play, and that's one of the things you go to on Game 4, maybe Game 5 in the regular season, not Game 1. And they pull it out, and if you can't tell at this point in time, if you just tuned in as they came out of the locker room to start the second half, you wouldn't be able to tell that Lynwood was up
35.
by 3 touchdowns right now.
No. And, that's obviously something that they've worked on in practice, and the coaches felt comfortable enough to call it, because if it doesn't work, it backfires. You set up the Royals with great field position, but they saw and they've been waiting all game. Hey, this works. We got the kicker to do it. We got the guys over there on the right side to do it, and it turned out golden for them.
Ballard sets up shop at the Lynwood 48-yard line. Crowd coming to life on both sides of the football. Now getting into an otherwise kind of ho-hum ball game. Ballard has made this thing interesting. Here's the flea flicker and taken down. Lynwood will get the ball back one play later after the busted play takes the head off of Eric Henderson.
That was Riley Johnson.
And Riley Johnson came right through the pile and made a beeline as the play was developing.
That was Hardeman that was going to throw. What they did is they handed the ball off to the running back. He went in motion, and he was going to throw it down to the big tight end, Elam. And as he got ready to throw the ball, Riley Johnson jumped on his back and totally stopped everything, made him fumble, and now Lynwood's got the ball. Tough break for the Beavers.
One play on the fumble. And now you kind of sense the air came out of the crowd. Things have changed just a little bit. Ballard traveling well with their crowd. There's the handoff. Mikey Kirkman. Boom. Kapop.
That's some tough running.
Bounced right into Matt Melapione. And that's 208 meeting 185.
Now,
for 8 yards.
I wouldn't be surprised if Lynwood just runs the ball and just tries to show the supremacy, their line being bigger and stronger, and try to run the clock down a little bit. We'll see what happens, but I got a feeling Lynwood's going to run the ball now.
And strangely, clock control matters all of a sudden. They'll hand the ball off to Roa. Roa with a little, very shifty runner.
Very much.
Started left, was able to cut back outside the right tackle.
Got beautiful cuts. I mean, reads his blocks really well, too. You can tell he gets through the hole and then puts a move on the linebacker or the safety.
And like a good major league pitcher, able to pitch inside out with an off speed followed by a fastball. You throw Mikey Kirkman out at you once, you throw a very speedy, shifty Roa at you second. What do you look for?
Yeah. No, they've got both big speed and a little quick guy. Yeah, no. It's a really nice combo to have.
Ballard shows blitz and then backs off. Now here comes the blitz and almost picked off. And a penalty flag is down.
I think they're going to call.
It was once again Ian Crocker found himself, the sophomore, in the backfield of Lynwood. Hammond had to get rid of the ball in a hurry, and it overthrew Smiley Tatum. We'll see what the penalty flag is for.
Coach Bankhead is not happy. He was out on the field. I think he's yelling at one of his running backs for not picking up the blitz. But he ran out to the field. He came back now, but he was out there.
And they will mark this off against the Beavers.
So they did call pass interference.
So pass interference pushing. He wondered why.
He went down so quick.
Well, Smiley Tatum's a big kid, and he went down and left a lot of space there. And evidently a shove in the back. That'll be a first down now inside the 10. We'll put it on the 10. Well, now they mark it on the 9. So second should be first and goal.
Yeah, you're right. They're moving the sticks.
And the chain gang a little confused at this point. So they say second down and inches to go. That's where we'll place it.
Yep.
That's what I'm sticking with.
No, that's what they got.
2:27 to go third quarter. 14 unanswered Ballard points here in the third quarter. And they had the ball looking to make it even more than that on the play action and flea flicker. They had it all going for about the first half of the play, and then the wheels came off the bus.
And they ran that beautiful onside kick that you've kind of felt at the time the momentum going, and now, you can, like you said, it's gone back the other way. I don't know what the delay is.
The Terrace Hawks on the field now practicing, getting ready for the nightcap game. Seaholm Mariners coming down from Bellingham, making the long trip. There's the handoff to Kirkman. Kirkman has some room. Gets into the backfield where he's found himself on more than one occasion tonight. Gets down to, I believe, the 2, make it 3-yard line.
Now we got first and goal. And like I said, Keith, Lynwood's just running the ball. They're trying to milk the clock. They know they can run the ball, and Ballard, they've been doing it all day. And that's what they're doing.
Clock continues to spin down to, 2:15. As Hammond will call Riley Johnson closer to him. Now we'll put the man in motion. That's Roa. Handoff will go right up the middle. This time as Kirkman again gets 2 consecutive handoffs. Gets over the goal line for the touchdown. 3-yard scamper.
And he just said, they just handed the ball and went right up the middle, and he just said, I'm going to score. And he just pushed himself in a big, strong young man, and he did a nice run there.
If you want 3 yards on a dive, there's no better guy to hand it to than number 34, Kirkman.
Yeah, I agree. He's a heck of a running back.
The kicking game for Lynwood, been spot on tonight. There's the kick, and it is good. Riley Johnson getting it all done on the PATs. Will make the score 42-14. Perfect so far with the kicks. And we will take a break on the Sound Live Sports Network. Lynwood with the lead, 42-14.
Clogged drain or other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Unclogging most internal drains for just $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Edmonds Community College. Join Edmonds CC in celebrating its 50th anniversary at its celebration kickoff event Friday, September 16th, starting at 4 p.m. on Triton Field. For more information, go to www.edcc.edu/50.
Riley Johnson doing a little bit of everything for Lynwood tonight. Didn't get the score there, but pretty good. Doing the kickoffs, doing the defensive back work, and running into the end zone. That'll be a touchback. I don't know, they're going to let him run it out of the end zone. I didn't know you could do that in high school football, but they're going to let him run it out anyway, back to the 24-yard line.
He definitely ran in the end zone.
He sure did.
Yeah, I thought it was a touchback too.
Ballard will take it though. They'll get an extra 4 yards out of the deal, and why not? $1:46 to go here, third quarter. And right now leading the quarter, 14-7.
Well, just speaking on Riley Johnson, right there we just saw him kick off, and he kicked the ball, to the 3-yard line?
Yeah.
I mean, he's an impressive player.
And then was down in the pile to make the tackle.
Yeah, he's an impressive player.
Of course, a soccer player, outstanding soccer player, Riley Johnson. Probably more his future is in soccer than it will be in football, but boy, sure fun to watch him play under the lights tonight. And the penalty flags, that will likely go against Ballard with a man in motion.
Yeah, I think Ballard
at the line.
I think they had one of their wide receivers was in motion, and somehow one of the linemen went in motion too. And
yeah, linemen aren't supposed to do that.
Can't do that.
No.
Number 63 kind of got out there a little early.
Tackle eligible man in motion. Ugugliatone, the junior, 6 foot 270. We talked about him. He's one of the bigger kids on that offensive line for Ballard.
Got himself a little head start on that play.
The man in motion is Osser. And under some pressure now as Gabriel will not get around the edge. Highly pursued by 2 Lynwood Royals. And you go from a penalty of 5 yards to a sack of another 10, maybe 12 yards after the retreat. And now you've got second down in the King County line to go.
And you know who made that sack, don't you? Mr. Hammond. Came in from his outside linebacker spot.
Every class is blessed with at least one specimen athlete. And I think you can put some of these specialist players, the Hammonds, the Kirkmans, the Johnsons of Lynwood Royals, certainly in that category.
They got some talent. They sure do.
Back to pass into his own end zone. Guess who? Going over the middle of the Eland, gets her all the way back to the original line of scrimmage. A play that has worked consistently every time they've run it is that little wide pop off the left-hand side. They stack Elon off, give him that hesitation block, and right up the middle he goes for the catch.
And Lynwood matches him, one-on-one with the linebacker, and he's beating him. And, yeah, like you said, it's worked every time for him. It's their money play right now. It's how they're getting back in the game.
Unfortunately, what is not working for him is that little yellow grouping of cloth about the 2-yard line.
Looks like another hold, I'm guessing.
And if you go half the distance to the goal line, it'll be third. Let me get the abacus out.
Yeah, it's a hold. So it'll be about the 1.5 yards.
Yeah, 3 yards deep. Yeah, it'll be a 1.5 yards off your own end zone.
Yeah, that's tough.
Some delicate play work to be had here now.
See, it went from, if the play would have counted, it's 2nd and 2. Now you're 2nd and 27.
33.
33.
They just changed the score.
Wow, that hurt. That play hurt.
Yeah, especially because you cut it in half just a minute ago, and you would have been third down and within a chance.
Yeah.
And now you've got everybody on your entire line with their feet in your own end zone, trying to come out, and that. That won't hurt you. It doesn't help you, but it certainly doesn't hurt you. What's another inch and a half backwards?
Inch. Well, they know Lynwood's been in the house, and so they're trying to get a little head start. Number 54 there for the Beavers.
Cade Queen, the sophomore. A lot of sophomores. You look up and down this roster, this Ballard roster. You've got a first-year head coach. You've lost all but 2 starters on your team. You look up and down this roster and you see junior after sophomore after junior. Yeah, you're having to work some smaller kids in, some of the underclassmen even perhaps. But you just put 14 spot up on a team laden with seniors. Long pass play intended for Henderson will bring up third down. Why not take a strike?
And that's going to help them down the line too. They're building a program, first-year coach. And these younger classmen are playing in his system, and by the time they get next year and the year after that, they're going to be much more comfortable.
And I think I heard a quote in the pregame show when Steve Willis interviewed Coach Bankhead, and we were talking about Ross Humphreys, that they were teammates in the state title game. And what the quote that I remember was that when Humphreys was at Blanchette, it was Bankhead that would call Humphreys to ask for advice. So they have a lot of respect for each other, and that's saying something for a first-year head coach when you've got a long-time head coach.
Yeah.
Asking your advice. Long pass, and that'll be picked off at the 20-yard line. A lazy fly ball into the outfield, and it was intercepted there by Jared Anderson, the wide receiver defensive back combo. 5'7", $160, read that perfectly and hauled in.
And we got
another flag down. And if it's against Ballard, you'll decline it unless it forces a dead ball and another hold situation. But where the penalty flag is, I doubt that's the case. Likely a block in the back against Lynwood or something on the return.
After the interception, that's what I'm guessing.
So things slow down just a bit here with 8 seconds to go in the third quarter.
The referees are getting their work in this quarter.
And we've got a dead ball with a personal foul
Lynwood.
against Lynwood. And I didn't see it.
Neither did I, but I'm guessing it was a block in the back like you said or something after the play was over.
Remember, these are 16, 17-year-old kids. They
get hyped.
They get excited.
Yep, they sure do.
Sometimes excitement doesn't translate into good behavior, especially when you got a lot of pads on you.
Yeah, yeah.
Your defense, you feel like you're
Superman.
You bet.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and we've all been there. We know it's tough, but you got to be smart.
Well, that'll put the ball on the 35-yard line after the interception. Lynwood up 42-14 with 8 seconds to go in the third. Back to pass is Hammond. He has a pump fake looking the other way now. Has a man wide open. Smiley Tatum.
What a great fake, Keith. What a great
touchdown,
fake.
Lynwood.
He faked to his right, and he faked me out. He double pumped, and then he went out to the left, and Smiley was wide open. You know what? Hammond just really made a nice play there.
8 seconds to go. You figure you'll probably just run it, put a little handoff into a Kirkman or a Roa's pocket. Let him get you into the fourth quarter and run some clock down, but no. Let's go for the speedster.
And you know what? He was he was wide open.
And still a second to go. So that play took 7 seconds to develop after the play fake, pump fake rather. And he got into the end zone in 7 seconds.
Yeah. That's you know what? That might be Coach Bankhead telling the rest of Wesco, hey, we're for real this year. You know what?
Statement play.
Yeah, statement play, exactly. He coming out saying, we're Lynwood and we're ready this year.
And you got a lot of different faces in the league. Remember, Everett has come down. You've got Snohomish now to contend with. You can't play everybody in your own district in the 3A South if you're Lynwood like you used to. You used to be able to go through them all, and everybody had an equal shot. And now that isn't necessarily the case. You get to play Shorewood, you get to play Snohomish, Edmonds, Woodway, Meadowdale, and Everett. Well, I guess you do. You hit them all. I lied. You play a lot of football.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games.
9 games before crossover.
Before you play the crossover, and you look at the Ballard schedule, you're only playing 7.
I wonder why.
So a lot different when you're having to run the gauntlet if you're Lynwood, and you're going to have your bad nights on 9 nights of a regular season. Boy, they sure look impressive tonight, though. That offense rolls, doesn't it?
They look really good. They look really good. They really do.
49-14, a second to go. That'll be this kickoff, and then we'll get into the final stanza of this one. And the little pooch kick once again trying to find the open, and they do about the 25-yard line. Gathered up there, fumble, and it will be Lynwood football.
That was run to perfection right there.
And we've been questioning that little pooch kick all night.
Yeah, that time.
And there's your answer.
Yeah, I see why they do it. No, he hit the spot. Riley hit the spot exactly where there was nobody there. And then as soon as the Lynwood or the Ballard guy came up to get the ball on the bounce, he got hit, and then he fumbled the ball, and now
third quarter comes to a close, and we will take a break on the Sound Live Sports Network. 49-14, Lynwood in control of this one over Ballard. We'll be back.
High school football on the Sound Live Sports Network. Snohomish County's place. Visit My Edmonds News, MLT News, and LynwoodToday.com for news, sports, events about your community, and see what your neighbors are talking about. Clogged drain or other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Unclogging most internal drains for just $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. That game right there is the next one up after this one. Lynwood is winning 49-14 over Ballard as Lynwood takes the run around the end. That you can't see, but the game that you do see there is the Seahome Mariners will be coming in to face the hometown Mount Lake Terrace Hawks. The 8 o'clock game will come on Sound Live Sports Network right after this one. Steve Willits and company with the call. We hope you'll stick around for that one. Again, Lynwood cruising here. Mount Lake Terrace hoping to get a cruise out of their opener, having dropped down to the 2A classification.
And that'll also be Seahome's first Wesco game, won't it, Keith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a long haul.
Yeah.
Of course, not that far, an hour away, wouldn't be any different than probably after you get into Ballard, like Lynwood going into Ballard, really, at the end of the day. There's a pass that was finally gotten out of the hands of Alton Hammond, but it was his friend Ian Crocker who has met him again in the backfield with a thundering thump.
In fact, on that play, the receiver, Riley Johnson, looked at Ian Crocker and just gave him a high five, out of respect, saying, young man, you really are playing a heck of a game, because he's in on everything.
Only a sophomore. He just has that football body. 6'2", 170 pounds.
And I see he's also a quarterback. So I wonder if he'll be groomed someday to be the Ballard quarterback. I got a feeling. So athletic.
Sure like him at the linebacker spot. There's the handoff to Roa. He's had a lot of success today. We'll see his number again, time and time again. Pretty much equal runs. You got to give credit to Hammond for the times he's made some runs. I don't think Roa has a touchdown, but he's certainly chewed up a lot of yardage.
He really has.
But you got Hammond, a better than adequate runner. You've got Roa, who's your shake and bakes and much shiftier, speedier runner. And then you got your power back. You hand it to Mikey Kirkman. Yeah. Holy smoke. Yeah. Look out.
Yeah. Hammond on the keeper.
And he may get himself in for another touchdown. There it is. Hammond with a 5-yard carry. Another touchdown to his credit. Hard not to give him a player of the game consideration.
Boy.
That young man has done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, he really
Perfect
has.
Ball. Has scored a TD on a 72-yard run. This time adds a 5-yard run.
And played, besides being the quarterback, a heck of a game at linebacker.
Heck of a game at linebacker.
I mean, yeah, he's pretty much done it all.
And I like the way this young man, who's lining up for the kick right now, Riley Johnson, has played. Yeah, could have been a 40-yard field goal, and it's PAT only. You only count that one as one. 56-14. The score. And we'll take a break and be back on the Sound Live Sports Network. Stick around.
Edmonds Community College. Join Edmonds CC in celebrating its 50th anniversary at its celebration kickoff event Friday, September 16th, starting at 4 p.m. on Triton Field. For more information, go to www.edcc.edu/50.
$56-14. Broken wide open here in the fourth quarter. Coming out of the locker room at halftime, it looked like Ballard had some momentum, and I think one misplay, the flea flicker gone wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe one you look back on the film and say, maybe not.
Yeah, that might have just bursted the bubble there because Ballard had momentum. I mean, they scored 2 touchdowns. They had
Unanswered. 14 unanswered
exactly,
points.
And they had the onside kick, and then they were going for the juggernaut, and it backfired on them, unfortunately.
10:55 to go, and that will cruise down quickly as in WIAA, the rules now 40 points. A lead will be a running clock. That one caught on that little pooch kick. That time Henderson, not fooled, came right up into the hole and knew exactly where it was going to be put.
He didn't let that one bounce.
And Ballard will have a chance now to come out with, again, a little over 10 minutes to play to make one final statement.
On that pooch kick, a smart play would be is just go up there and fair catch it.
Yeah.
They can't hit you, and you got great field position. I mean, I haven't seen it happen today, but I'd coach that
Well,
up.
it's one of those things that if the seed has not been planted, you don't know about it.
Right.
And sometimes some of these younger players, it's just not something they've experienced. They don't know to make that call, but you're exactly right, Scott. Running clock now, 56-14 your score. They'll put the receiver Wolk in motion. There's the handoff on the counter going up the middle. A first down, still on his feet, bouncing it on the outside. Here goes Hardiman, the senior to the 20. Can he be caught? 10-5, touchdown Ballard.
Big play.
It started off the entire play going to the left-hand side. And Daniel Hardiman, the senior, able to cut back on the counter to the right. But it didn't take him more than 2 or 3 steps to get back into the motion of the play to the left-hand side all the way in for the TD.
And once he got past the line of scrimmage, he was gone. He really.
And I did not catch where they set that ball up to start this play. So I do not know the total yardage. Hardiman with the score. 41 yards, a 41-yard line, their own 41-yard line. So make it a 59-yard run.
Yeah, that was a heck of a run. And now and I don't blame him. Ballard's going for 2.
And they got a different quarterback now. No, they don't. There's. Whoa, that one flung out like a slingshot out of the hands of Gabriel.
Well, he was getting tackled. Gabriel was getting tackled, and he was going down, and he just kind of backhanded, like a backhand flip, and I think he was just throwing it and hoping somebody would catch it.
56-20 now, so take off the running clock rule. Ballard may get another possession. Now they're still running.
I don't know the rules exactly. But
I guess I don't know. Maybe if it reaches that much,
40,
it doesn't matter.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
which is kind of unfortunate because
if you start to
at
make
this
a great
point in
comeback,
time, and Ballard, the way they've been playing, they deserve another possession. And Lynwood right now, if they have a couple of first downs, they're not going to get that chance.
No, they can run the ball out.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've seen plenty of 9-minute drives, 8-minute drives. Not necessarily today, but high school football is built around your 8-minute drives.
It certainly is. And you know what? It's been a minute just getting the kickoff here. So
yeah, almost down to 8 minutes on the clock. You're exactly right. That running clock will really make a difference.
It's going to go by fast.
And we'll see at this point in time if Lynwood doesn't get a couple of the second stringers in on this drive and see if they can't put a little depth, a little practice time, get some reps in. I don't think that win 10 yards. Lynwood or Ballard says they have the football. Did it go? It's past the 50.
Yep. Well,
so another onside kick. Successful for Ballard. They're 2 for 2 on onside kicks today.
And see, that's something that Coach Bankhead's going to come to practice and show the film tomorrow to the guys and say, hey, this is what we got to do. You got to jump on that ball. That was a lineman or a linebacker trying to field it and went right between his legs, and Ballard got the ball.
Well, to your defense, you're up, 56-20. You're up 36 points. Do you really need to put the hands team in? Is that what you're thinking as a coaching staff?
No, but you can use that as a learning experience, saying, young man, you don't need to try to pick up the ball. Just jump on it. We'll take the ball right there. That's our ball. Instead of trying to make a play for us. don't make one mistake into another one. And I think that's kind of what I would do on that one.
Lynwood still showing blitz, and blitz successful.
Mr. Kirkman
Wrestled down. 2 Royals in on the tackle. Of course, you mentioned Kirkman. But you've also got to give some props to Weibark. Stephen Weibark able to get in and on the left-hand side where Kirkman was making hay on the right. And Gabriel makes a nice field position on an onside kick, back 10 more yards, so 2nd and 20.
And if I was Ballard, I mean, wouldn't you try to be hurrying? I mean, you want to get points on the board. I mean, they don't seem like they're in too much of a hurry to run the play.
Now back to pass, a little swing out. It was Hammond in the backfield again, and now trying to wrap up the Zed Webster, the sophomore. A lot of depth in the skill position are sophomores for Ballard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In a couple of years, they could be really, really good. I mean,
yeah,
next
look out.
Next year, I mean, give them a full year to play in the Metro League this year and get the feel of playing, major high school football, and then the experience, the off season, like the weight programs, the speed and agility, the 7-on-7s, and they're gonna have a really good team.
Just under 6 minutes to play here in the final quarter at Edmonds District Stadium. There's a long pass, outstanding catch by that young man, having to dive after the football. That's Fresh Osser.
Boy, that was a nice catch by Fresh. That was a real nice catch. He dove out and sprung out as far as he could and made that catch. Nice job.
That brings up 4th down, and we have a timeout.
We got a measurement?
Not with 4th down and 16 to go. I don't think so.
Well, I see the clock was still running. Now they stopped it.
And they finally will stop it. We'll take a timeout on the Sound Live Sports Network. Lynwood still up big, 56-20.
Clogged drain or other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Unclogging most internal drains for just $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Edmonds Community College. Join Edmonds CC in celebrating its 50th anniversary at its celebration kickoff event Friday, September 16th, starting at 4 p.m. on Triton Field. For more information, go to www.edcc.edu/50.
Ballard Beavers will punt the ball away. In the state playoffs a year ago, much different look, first-year head coach, and there's your jump on the football. First-year head coach Ross Humphreys takes over for Joey Thomas, who left them a pretty good football program. They're just young, a lot of youth, new program, new faces. They'll be okay.
Yeah, they're going to be fine.
If you're a Ballard fan, they're going to be okay.
Yeah, they're going in the right direction. You can see that. They're going in the right direction. Coach has got himself some ball players. Just got to get playing more and get repetition, and they're going to do well. I would be surprised if they do well in the Metro League this year. I really think so.
You've also got Lynwood, of course. They're going to be okay too.
Yeah, I think.
I don't think you have to fear too much with the way the Royals are. Of course, high school football, the way it comes down, you have an off night, you have a couple of key injuries, and your world can be upturned in a hurry.
1 week. Yeah, you're right. But I tell you, I've been real impressed with this Lynwood team.
As I have also. There's a flag, another one. And Lynwood with the false start. This is where you don't want to implode. You want to go week to week. You want to go week to week strong.
I would be surprised if Lynwood just doesn't hand the ball off the rest of the game. I really think that's what they're going to do.
Clock still continues to touch closer and closer to 0 at 3:51 now. Will not stop the remainder of the ball game, except on a timeout call.
And then
a pump fake,
he's
trying to
passing.
get around things, and caught a strike at the 40-yard line.
Smiley.
And drive down, and Smiley Tatum. And he's going to show up like a beacon on film for the next couple of teams that have to watch film on this kid. He has done nothing but bust through defensive backs. And as he's 3 and 4 strides open every time. It's just a matter of getting the ball in his hands.
Yeah, that play's coming back.
Penalty flag.
Lineman downfield. But, and he's not just open. He's wide open. I mean, he's
got good hands. That one was not necessarily in his kitchen.
Nope.
He had to go down and get it. And still was able to.
And he's fast. In fact, the coach told me before the game, he said he's the fastest guy on the team.
I believe it.
I do too.
I'm not gonna go out and challenge him at this point. That ball will be placed at the 14-yard line.
Yeah.
No, it's inside the 14. Make it the
9
9-yard line. 1st and 20 to go. They'll put Saverin in motion. New receiver. And Hammond will hand the ball off. Right up the middle it goes. I believe that was Roa once again. Or was that Kirk? I couldn't tell.
I think Lynwood's got some second teamers in.
Yeah, it might be. Now they hand the ball off to Kirkman. So a couple of guys still earning their keep that started this ball game. Lynwood got a lot of kids on the sideline. So does Ballard. So turnout has been good for both squads.
Yeah, it really has.
Here's Kirkman coming around the end at that telltale lowered shoulder and bowls his way through to the first down, although
2 more flags.
Raining hankies.
Getting a little sloppy out there.
Well, a couple of those, that umpire, you throw your arm out, throwing the flag that hard.
That was way out there.
He had to go a ways to get that to land where it did. You obviously saw it from afar, and of course those things have a beanie in them, a little weighted beanie, so they're going to go a ways if you give them enough oomph. But that hold on the run, and they will take the first down away. And from the spot of the foul, which is about the 25-yard line, they'll back it up 10 more yards. So they'll put it back to the line of scrimmage. It will remain 2nd down.
So I bet you this is the Royals' last play with the running clock.
Yeah, and since we've been talking, you've lost 2 minutes on the clock.
Well, the penalties.
on a dead ball. So not a bad play, I guess. If you're a clock management fan, certainly isn't sexy, but it gets the job done.
Yeah.
Directly after this ball game, Mount Lake Terrace and Seaholm will take the field. Seaholm making the trip down from Bellingham.
You know, Keith Hammond is really, really smart. He watched the play clock all the way down, pointed to it, and then took a knee. I mean, that's a heads-up play right there.
And that will run out the clock as the crowd comes off the benches and celebrates the first Lynwood Royals win of the season. 6-4 last year, their best result since the turn of the century. 16 years. And boy, do they look poised to do some damage in the Wesco 3A South this year.
I think things are going the right way for them. I really do. Their line looked outstanding today. Their skill positions are just fantastic, and they got a heady quarterback.
The final in this one, 56-20, Lynwood over Ballard. We'll take a timeout and come up with our Adrenaline Sports Fundraising Player of the Game. We've got some options. So we'll come back after this on the Sound Live Sports Network. Don't go anywhere. Lynwood going over to their fans now. And they got to like what they see. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a big night for Lynwood. And you look at the players. The players are all excited. The fans are excited. They know they got something special going.
They're certainly jazzed now. It's been the girls basketball team that's been the excitement around Lynwood up to this point. And now the football team coming off a 1-0 start to the season in 2016. We'll be back on the Sound Live Sports Network.
High school football on the Sound Live Sports Network is presented by Neighborhood News Network, South Snohomish County's online gathering place. Visit My Edmonds News, MLT News, and LynwoodToday.com for news, sports, and events about your community, and see what your neighbors are talking about.
Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. 56-20, the first game in the books of the regular 2016 season. 3A Wesco South Lynwood over the top of the Ballard Beavers, and we're joined by our Adrenaline Sports Fundraising Player of the Game, Alton Hammond. What a ball game. It had to be a fun ball game to play in, first of all. It had to be fun coming out. Game number one, locking horns with an opponent and getting the W.
Yeah, it was a fun game. I was a little bit nervous coming up to it because we have so much expectations this year. But, we lived up to it, and, we came out and we balled out.
I'd say you balled out. Let's talk about 2 running touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns. At least that's what I quickly came up with. There may be more than that.
Touchdowns.
3 running touchdowns, 3 passing. The guy that knows. Talk about, first of all, the way things started. You had a Riley Johnson kickoff return. Did you expect him to go up the middle untouched for 70-plus yards and get you on the board like that?
Yeah, we have a lot of starters playing special teams, so I was very confident that he was going to score because we got a lot of experience on the special teams.
Talk about your own long run. You came out, I think you were up by 14 at that point in time. You saw a little daylight. Was that a called play that took you up the middle for the long 70-yard touchdown?
Yeah, I came out of the locker room because I got this bandaged up, and we were on offense. We just called the counter, and we scored.
You know what I noticed is you're a heck of a quarterback, but just from my naked eyes, you love playing linebacker because you love to go hit somebody.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I could tell. And you love coming around that end on that blitz, don't you?
Yeah, I love it.
I saw you all night, and nobody even picked you up.
I know.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of the game? Obviously, Scott's touching on it. We got you for all these touchdowns, and you're going to look in the paper tomorrow morning and see all sorts of stats and people talking big about the offense. Tell me a little bit about the defense, because they shut out a pretty decent team, a young team, but a pretty good team for an entire 2 quarters, blanked them 35-0 to start out.
Yeah, we have 10 starters that are seniors on defense. We've all played together since the 8th grade, so we just have that mentality and we have that mesh together. We know how to play with each other.
You got a different landscape in the Wesco 3A South this year. You got a couple of teams that you're not used to playing, not used to seeing. But most people have you up at the top, right? You talk about the pressure. The cliche, of course, we're only going to play 1 week at a time. We're only going to play 1 game at a time. Talk a little bit about what's happening on the Wesco and what you think going forward through the Wesco 3A.
We got 2 good teams in Snohomish and Everett. We played Everett last year. Snohomish, they got Keegan Stitch. I played against him in Little League. He's a very good player. But we're going to prepare for anything.
Well,
every week.
if you prepared like you did for week 1 against the Ballard Beavers, I think you're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Alton Hammond, our player of the game, the first one of the 2016 season. Let's get the photo op here. 3 running touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns. I can't even tell you the total yardage, but it's got to break the bank. 500 yards. Maybe not quite that much, but close.
Yeah.
If not, it's got to be really close. Congratulations.
Thank
Go
you.
celebrate number
I will.
1.
Thank you.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Our player of the game, Alton Hammond, is, we'll give him the T-shirt here. I wouldn't put it in my pocket, but you don't want to keep that one. And go celebrate with your teammates. I love the neon leggings. That's going to be easy to spot on the film. You're going to see a lot of neon.
What an impressive young man.
Absolutely. And, of course, I didn't quite get the lowdown on the upper lip there. It looked like he might have taken a stitch or two. But no worse for the wear.
No, he's tough.
Up next on the Sound Live Sports Network, Steve Willis will bring in the Mountain Lake Terrace Hawks. They'll face the Seaholm Mariners coming all the way down from Bellingham. We hope you enjoyed Scott Brudevold and myself and Teresa Wiffle, Angelo Camo, and the crew that got things done here on the Sound Live Sports Network. Again, the final 56-20. Lynwood over the top of Ballard. It's game 1. We'll see you next week. Edmonds Woodway, and they play Woodinville. So it ought to be an interesting contest there. We'll get the call.
Good to see a Kinko opponent come in and play.
So until next week, good night. Stick around for the 8 o'clock ball game.
High school football on the Sound Live Sports Network is presented by My Neighborhood News Network, South Snohomish County's online place. Visit My Edmonds News, MLT News, and LynwoodToday.com for news, sports, and events about your community. And see what your neighbors are talking about.